Music got this weird, like, almost drunk feeling. It's like tick, 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 tick. It's weird. It's weird. Hi, everybody. For those who don't know who I am, if anybody's out there, my name is Super Trav, Travioli. If you're feeling spicy, some people call me Trav, some people call me Travis. Variety gamer, and I also do this weird show called TravTalks, which is tonight. It's actually right now. That's why it says talk shows and podcasts below. It's kind of neat, I gotta say. Like, I've been doing this is my 12th episode, and kind of hard to believe, actually, because I truly assume that literally no one would ever show up for something like these kinds of things, because it'd be like another fucking white guy with a podcast. How original. But like the idea of, you know, I wanted to just kind of do it. I like talking. And I'm way better at talking than I am video games. So that's the direction we decided to go in. It's about content creation, mental health, and kind of anything else that comes up along the way. So I'm very happy to have our guest here, not only in chat, but I can see her face. You can't. And we can just keep it that way the whole time. It could just be me talking for 3 hours, and she just has to sit there. I'm just kidding. We have the lovely DenimBlonde with us here tonight. I'm very excited to kind of have her, you know, talk to us about some of the things that come along with content creation in this incredibly saturated market, kind of how she navigates those things, how to make connections, those types of things. As always, here are the two things right here. That's what it's about. And of course, there's the chat thing right there. If we have any audio issues, for instance, if Denim or I myself is super quiet, please let me know so I can do a little couple of changes on my end. And then, of course, the last minute thing here is we do have a Q&A at the end. So if there's any questions that are pertaining to what we're talking about, or maybe not pertaining to what we're talking about, feel free to come up and just let us know. My mods got it and they're watching just in case we miss any questions, but we may or may not answer them until the very end. So, Blonde, Denim, are you out there?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's flip it on over. It's DenimBlonde, everybody. Look at that.
Hello.
How's it going today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm surviving. I'm doing my best.
That's the most we can ask for.
Yeah.
Is doing our best.
Yeah. So, super quick story. There's something that happened at my work and my health insurance got all screwy.
Oh no.
And so I literally don't have health insurance at the moment.
Oh no.
And so I ran out of meds and I can't pay for my therapy out of pocket because he doesn't have like a sliding scale thing. And so like, I'm just fucking raw dogging it right now.
Oh my God, that's awful. Oh goodness.
I will say it's not super pleasant sometimes, but I've been doing this for a while, so we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Well, I hope they iron that out with your insurance.
I hope so too, man. I have no idea what happened. They were just like, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna call and find out. So hopefully that gets figured out here soon. But tonight is partially about you as well. How are you feeling? The last time I was like, it was like right up until like Monday or so. I was like checking your Instagram stories, and you're like, I'm at urgent care. What's up?
So I had a virus. I get sick pretty often. I after getting COVID a couple years ago, it like tripped asthma in me, and I've never had it before.
Oh.
And it's like I get frequent chest infections. They last for a couple weeks at a time, and I had a excuse me, I had a virus, and it just snowballed into another chest infection that I've been fighting. But I'm feeling better today, so that's good.
Okay. And do you have like nebulizer or like rescue inhaler type thing, albuterol?
So I have the rescue albuterol because on the East Coast I really didn't have a doctor, so it was like urgent care for that.
Right.
But I'm gonna get that taken care of because it's very disruptive.
Yes. As someone who had asthma as a child, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. So actually, that's a great little segue. Is from East Coast to West Coast. Like, how have you been dealing with that? That's a big change.
Well, so I started here in California. I went over to the East Coast and just came back in September, and it's been interesting because I got back here. The weather was nice for a little bit, and then we had like hurricane weather, which we don't normally have in California. So that was interesting. And I'm like, oh, we brought, like, my husband had just come over, and I said, you brought the Pennsylvania weather with you.
I was actually, so it's funny you said that, because like I remember you were, I think it was on one of your streams, and you like brought up like Yingling or something like that. And I was like, are you from Pennsylvania?
Yeah. We like smuggled over some Yingling 2 for B because we, funny story, like me and iZombie basically switched places in a move. Like at the same time, she moved to where I am from in California, and I moved to around her area in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And then like we randomly found each other on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, I know where that is. Yeah. That random place in California. I know where that is. That's awesome. And we kind of just did a 1-for-1 switch and kind of, became really good friends because of that. So
Yeah, that is interesting, right? Like it's a small big world, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously B, and we had B on this show, and we're big fans of B over here.
Yeah, she's very lovely. Her and her husband are very lovely.
I've had the pleasure of kind of meeting him through B's screen, but that's about it. Yeah, so okay, so then Sheets or Wawa.
Oh, okay. So my part of Pennsylvania, I was right 30 minutes outside of Philly.
Okay.
So there were no Sheets by me. So I've only been to Wawa. I love Wawa. I miss Wawa.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. See, my partner's from the west side, the Pittsburgh side, where there's Sheets.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a coincidence. That's funny.
And then you talk, and because I also remember you and I talking about Mad Dog.
Yes, I do remember that. That's a long time ago.
It was a while ago, yeah, but I remember being like, oh god, I just was like brought back to like the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Being like, oh, it's blue. Oh no. So okay, so you went from California to Philly area, and then back to California.
So I moved out there. I met my then or now husband Dan, and we randomly met on Instagram, and he was like, "I'm going to a show tonight," and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool. What part of SAC are you going to a show in?" Or no. He said, "What did you say? You said what part of?"
He's right there. We should just ask.
Yeah. He was like, "I'm going to a show," and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool. What show are you going to?" And he said, "I'm going to a show in Philly," and I'm like, "That's really cool and nice to meet you, but I'm in California." And then we like talked, like nonstop. And then it was like, "Oh, I have to meet you." So he flew across the country to meet me for a couple days. And then it was like we were long distance for 8 months, and then I decided to move across country to be with him. It was like one of those transitional periods, I think, in my life. A lot of people were like changing careers, getting married, having children, and I was like, I'm just gonna, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
And it was nice. Philly's actually a very nice town, or very nice city. They're little, certain parts of Philly. Everyone there was really nice to me, really kind, really sweet. It was definitely a memorable experience, memorable city.
Yeah. And how long were you out there?
I was out there for 7 years.
Okay, that's a good time.
And then we ended up moving back because the price of housing and the price of apartments are the same in California as in Pennsylvania area.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it was awful. And I was like, why don't we just never have to deal with snow ever again?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. All right. I mean, I personally like snow a lot. I think it's beautiful, and obviously, like, learn to drive in it or don't drive in it. Like, but I personally love snow, but I get it. Like, I get why people don't like it.
The best part, though, like, even though I lived there 7 years, if I have to, I can drive in snow. But I would be like, "Hey, I'm from California and I don't know how to drive in snow, so I'm not coming in today. Goodbye." And they're like, "Oh, no worries. No worries at all.
We don't want you to hurt anybody or yourself." You're like, perfect. So that's it. So you originally from California, and obviously you don't have to like pinpoint it, but you said Sacramento is original?
So I from the Bay Area.
Okay. So a little farther up north.
I lived there until I was 8 or 9, and then we moved to the suburb outside of Sacramento. Okay. And that's where I was until I was 25, and then went over to the East Coast. And but yeah, I've been a California girl for my whole life, basically.
Yeah. I've got a lot of my, we'll call them waspy, but they're Catholic, They're all down in like the Rancho Upland area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like the rich white people who have like problems.
Pinky up.
I love you guys, but once a year kind of guys. Yeah, so obviously that transition, like, that's, first of all, it's hard to believe that prices around Philly are the same as California, because I was thinking California is this just astronomical.
Some places are, yes, but it was crazy. We were even looking, we were right on the border of Pennsylvania and Delaware. Like, I've worked in Delaware in a couple different jobs, and we looked at places in Delaware.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same, and you get
Wow.
less some places, and it's like there are apartments here right now that are less. There are apartments in nicer areas that are about the same. Like, it was absolutely insane to me, the price comparison. And people at my last job, when I said I'm moving to California, so many people stopped me and they're like, do you know how expensive it is to live there? Like,
Yeah.
do you know how expensive housing is?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do out there? What are you gonna, blah blah blah? What are you
Right.
gonna? And I'm like, oh, I've lived there my whole life,
Yeah.
so
So
I'm used to it.
yeah, and you I assume some of your family's out in California, and
Yeah, most of my family's out in California.
Okay.
So it's I have a good like safety net
of course.
here, so that's also really really helpful and really important.
Of course. Yeah. That's one of the reasons, not the only reason, obviously, of coming back to Denver, where I'm originally from Colorado. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I feel the whole, like, I'm starting here, I moved to a different state for a little while, and then I'm like, it's the same.
It's fun to do it, if you don't
Yeah.
have those ties or those responsibilities. It is fun to do.
Yeah.
Or to see if you can like move to a
Sure.
different city.
Some people are very much out there being like, I hate my very pop punk, right? Like, I hate my
Mhm.
town and I'm leaving forever, right? And it's like, do it. Yeah. Like, I feel like people should absolutely leave their town for a little while, because, I mean,
You may like it someplace else.
you may
too.
like it, or you may realize, actually, it wasn't that bad or something.
That too, yeah.
And I'm not in the town that I grew up in too, because, like,
Oh, that also helps.
right? Just like, it's still here, but like it's far away enough that I'm like, all right, I'm not really.
You
there
don't run
anymore.
into Steve from high school or like
No.
any people
No.
you don't want to see at the bar.
Yes, yeah. Y'all can stay over there. It's fine. So so going out to Pennsylvania was for your now husband.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you doing while you were out there?
Well, I was out there. I worked customer service for a trash company, for an HVAC company. I hopped around jobs quite a bit.
Okay.
I was a waitress for quite a while at a couple different places, just because, like, one job they said, well, we're not going to be open anymore, so okay, goodbye guys. Like, so that happens pretty frequently.
In the restaurant business it does, yeah.
Sadly, yeah. And then
been there.
I was working at a really cool bar, really lovely bar, and then 2020 happened, and then sorry, my dog is just like chasing her tail.
Adorable.
Right off camera. And after that, I landed into a job. My friend is a graphic designer, and he said they need a front desk person. You'd be perfect. They would love you. And I got to the job, and they said, "Hey, you know how to use Canva? You basically know how to use InDesign. We'll teach you." Like, they were a small company, and they the boss, love him to death, he would take on anything.
Right.
He would take on way too much work. Like, he he wanted to try and figure out how to wrap a tour bus and like all. It was insane, and we were like, no, don't do it. You're a one-man team. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But he was like, well, you know how to do like drop in text, do all these little things, so we can give you forms. I did quite a few funeral programs, just random stuff to help get my friend graphic designer get stuff off of his plate that is, you know, really easy to do, and stuff off my boss's plate. They also taught me how to like screen print shirts, or not screen print, but like do the press shirt, like on Jersey Shore.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
It was really fun. It was really interesting because and then it got a little overwhelming because it was like, oh, we need you to help with this. We need you to do this. And then you're also going to answer phones, deal with customers. You're going to be the front desk person. So I was like, oh, okay.
No doubt. That's a lot. I know that. I definitely know the restaurant work, and we could talk all day about that, I'm sure. But like small companies like that, like everybody kind of does everything.
Yeah, you wear a lot of hats, and then too, the wage that I started at, which was a good Pennsylvania wage, was not enough. And then I asked for a raise because I'm doing all these things, and then the raise is what minimum wage here is in California, and it still wasn't enough. And then it's like I was already pushing them to their limit, kind of, with how much they could pay me. And it just, like, the hours that I was there, the work that I was putting in, and the compensation, even though I learned so much, like I had an amazing boss. Everything was a teachable moment. Like I loved that environment. I ended up going back to the bar I worked at before the pandemic.
Okay.
Because it was just more money.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
More money.
It's wild. I mean, obviously, like, working in the restaurant business is so up and down, like, because you can go on a Friday, you could be working a Friday night or something and walk away like doing really well, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely feast or famine, because it's like all Tuesdays now at my job where I'll walk out with a couple $100, which is crazy for a Tuesday. That's and really then there's Tuesday. Some I'm just like, oh, okay, it wasn't even worth me coming in.
Right, like you walk out with $25 and you're like,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, and then I don't know how your place worked. The place I worked at, I guess I had to like give a little bit of the tip out to like the host and stuff like that. And like if you have like $25, you're like,
sometimes it hurts. Yeah.
You're like, I don't have anything for you. Here's $1.
25
I'm so sorry.
cents.
Yeah. $1. I can't do anymore. So, and you feel bad too, because you're like we're all here. We're all working.
We're all here, and like the place that I'm working at now, it's like service support is so helpful that I will, if I'm having an especially like in the weeds day, service support is there for me. I'll be like, here is extra money on top. Like, thank you for saving my ass.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Just to be like, can you just like right now I have like 5 tables and can you just run this one, you know?
Yeah, can you please take drinks to this table?
Great, I love that. What do you think is the weirdest, if you can think of it, like one of the weirder requests you've ever got?
Definitely not it. So I've worked at a bar. I work at an adult Chuck E. Cheese type place right now, and I've worked like breakfast.
Okay.
And I definitely get the weirdest requests for breakfast shifts.
Yes.
I get the weirdest requests, and I get a lot of like, even though you are in the weeds, it's like, how are you doing? How is your family? How's your mother? How's this? How's that? But I've definitely had the I would like this I would like this omelet, and people don't read what's in the omelet, and the Western omelet has salsa on it, and I'll bring it to the table, and people are like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And I'm like,
exactly what you asked for.
Yeah, it's the Western omelet.
It's the exact thing you asked for, because you didn't change a thing.
Or people will change everything in the
that I feel like that's the worst one, because then you're like, what do I charge you for? Because you took out all these things and added all these other things.
Made your own thing.
Yeah, which like isn't a thing on the menu.
Or I have had somebody ask to buy our eggs.
Oh. Like
and
from the fridge?
Yeah, it was at the bar that I worked at. They came in, they said they were on vacation and they couldn't stop at the store or something like that. So they said, how much if we can have some eggs? The eggs were expensive. Like I went and I asked the head chef and I was like, hey, you know, and I think it was like $20 for 6 eggs or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And they said, well, we're not a grocery store, so.
I mean, they're not wrong, but damn.
Oh my God.
You're like, I mean, do you really need these eggs that bad?
Yeah, do you really want these eggs? But they bought them. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm robbing you, but okay.
Why don't,
why don't you just walk to the CVS?
Yeah, exactly. Like some 7-Elevens have eggs. Like
the Wawa has eggs.
What the heck?
But, you know.
I worked at my breakfast place was it was really close to a college. And so we had the old people who were there either before or after church, right? And the extremely hungover kids who probably didn't sleep and like got dragged to breakfast or whatever. And like you just kind of get like this like like kind of thing. I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And you'd like bring them toast and they'd be like, oh my God. Or I did have one person say like they didn't know that you could have eggs any other way than scrambled.
Oh.
So like they like apparently their entire life always scrambled eggs, which is fine because I like scrambled eggs. But like you know, how would you like your eggs? Because they did like a American breakfast, which is like toast, eggs, and sausage or whatever, right? And it was like I was like, how do you like your eggs? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, you can do. I was like, and just like not even thinking, I just started listing off these eggs.
20 different ways you can have eggs.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we can poach them, we can hard boil them, we can do all these different ways. Like, how do you generally like them? And then they were just like, they're yellow, and I'm like, well, some of them are yellow.
Oh my God!
Like a sunny side up has like yellow in the middle. Is that what you're talking about? You know.
I learned that so many people don't know how they like their eggs. So many people don't know. Or they'll ask for like a medium easy or something like that. And I'm like, there's easy and there's medium. Like, please pick one.
Do you like it more or less cooked? Like
or medium hard. What is that?
Do you like it dippy or not? Like, just answer that question. Yeah, no, yeah, the egg thing too, like people like look to their partner or like look to their friend and be like, how do I like my eggs? Like sunny side up or dippy eggs, that's what they're called in some places. So you were working at this, you said it's like a design firm type thing.
Yeah, graphic design place.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was that the dream? Was that like just kind of a thing? Like what was that to you?
It was something. So I have like an associate's in art. I love doing art. I love making art. I'm getting into digital art and trying to learn how to do that. And It was like finally I have a job in the art field where I can be kind of creative, I guess. But
totally.
it was nice to do that. And even my mom now is like, don't you miss working at a graphic design place? Don't you miss working there? Or don't you miss doing that? And there are some times where I'm like, oh, I could probably walk into this job and be like, oh yeah, like I know all the different kinds of paper and what goes on this and what goes on that.
There are different kinds of paper. Like...
There are so many different kinds of paper. Before I quit, there was like a paper shortage. We would have to. It was absolutely insane. It would be like, okay, well, let me check and see if we have paper for your job before I say yes.
Head up to Scranton. Right? Like there's
it was like a national wide. There was a paper shortage, there was a t-shirt shortage for a while, because this was still like kind of pandemic-y, like end of pandemic-y or whatever. Like or end like, of pandemic-y.
End, right. Yeah, like 2022-ish then?
2021, 2022.
Okay.
And it was also when like the grocery stores were empty and bare, and
I remember that.
And you go to Walmart and there's nothing in the shelves in Walmart, so there ended up being no paper. And it, for a small shop, we ran so many large jobs and so many, especially towards the end of the year, it was like all these bound crazy books and things that it's like, well, we don't have paper for your job, or we're gonna have to take this paper and dye it this color and all these things, which racks up the price, and the customer's just like, whatever, take my card, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, okay. First of all, I didn't even know there are different kinds of paper for I mean, I guess there's like different thickness or whatever, but like, is that the only difference, or like
different thicknesses, different finishes? There's like fluorescence paper, there's like stone paper, there are all these different, it was like a whole bowl of paper that we just had in stock at any given time. And there's like we also did because we did funeral programs, so those are on glossy or they're on matte. We did wedding invitations. We did. I got my Valentine's printed there.
But that's so like it's more than like lamination. Like that's like different.
We did lamination as well. Yeah, that's different. We also did. Oh wait, no, we did not do it. But we would send out for like foil pressing. So if business cards would do them a lot, where they have the fancy metallic foil.
Oh.
That had to get sent out. That would get designed by us and then get sent out to someplace else. Foil stamping, a lot of things in the paper graphic design, like a lot of those trades are dying, sadly. Which you don't even know. I had no idea until I worked there, and I'm like, okay, what's this? What's that? What is foil stamping? What is this? What is this?
I'm learning more about paper than I thought I ever would, honestly. Wow. So like, I mean, in a world that's definitely trending toward digital art and digital kind of everything for that matter, like I would assume the paper industry, as it were, doesn't quite fit in as much anymore.
Much as I thought that the same thing, like everything's digital, or people print on their own, or like you can print things if you need them through Canva, or home printers are so nice these days compared to what they used to be. We were busy all the time.
Yeah.
We were busy constantly. Like it was, the phone would ring off the hook. Like I had no idea that people still relied on that. But then again, we also made signs. It was like anything and everything that you could do.
Okay.
So that helped to contribute into it too. But there was a lot of paper, a lot of flyers, a lot of handouts, a lot of labels, a lot of, I was very surprised.
I'm legit surprised just because, like, I work at a school and there are teachers who, like, have basically paperless classrooms. Like, everything's done on these like little handhelds or iPads or whatever. Like it's all done through, like they even have like a whiteboard that's like a smart board, and they can like touch it, and it's like a computer screen.
Fancy.
And I'm like, holy shit! Like
We had chalkboards back in my day.
we had chalkboards too. We had chalkboards, or we had some whiteboards here and there.
Yeah,
like
there were some whiteboards. Yeah.
Yeah, we would get lucky. Maybe like a bulletin board or something, you know. But yeah, but I went to like a public school where there was like 30 kids to like one desk, you know, like
Yeah, same.
it was just packed. Our graduating class was like almost 600. Like we were like,
Oh my gosh.
massive, right? Which is way more than it should have ever been.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But now, like, obviously, I would assume that schools, I guess, would use it. But then I even thought about my own school. Like, no, they don't really. Not as much. Obviously, they still do, but not as much.
Maybe it's some schools. I don't. My mom just retired in January, and she worked at the middle school, and I think even they were starting to do less and less with paper, because
Right.
I think too, like, the teachers have to pay for certain amount of or stuff coming out of pocket, and trying to limit the amount of copies and stuff that you make, and so I think there was a push to be digital. But yeah, it's very interesting that so many people like want flyers, want handouts, want posters, want we made form. Oh.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
You're talking about mom retiring.
It's just crazy that there's, for as much as there is a digital advancement out there, and as many places and things are going paperless, that there are still maybe it was the area that I was in, because it was like the Philly area, and a lot of people are more old school with stuff like that, that it was like forms, signs, put like more traditional.
I guess so, yeah. I did notice that, like, even though the East Coast was technically there first, right? Like, as far as like modernization, like the West Coast has like become more like technologically advanced. Does that makes sense? Like, I don't know if we've ever been up to like the Pacific Northwest, but like stuff's really digital up there.
I could see that, because like the more up north you go, the more progressive you get. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and certain parts, obviously, of Pennsylvania are very conservative, and but I also remember driving through my partner's hometown, and there was like a 5-bed, 4.5 baths, like for like $150K, and I was like, I'm gonna throw
Oh
up.
my god! But then you have to live in the middle of nowhere.
But then you have to live,
so-
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I have to live in
Oh my god!
I know. It's disgusting. I'm like, I'd be a fucking millionaire out there right now. Like,
I'd never have to work again.
it's wild to me. But then, like you said, you have to live in the middle of nowhere, and
You
deal
may have
with-
nightmare neighbors.
You might. You might. They might be the type to be like, if you cross this piece of grass, I'm gonna shoot you. You know?
Yeah, that is very true. Although there's some of that in Northern California as well. Very quick short story.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
went to go pick up my friend up 30 minutes north, up in Auburn. I went to go pick her up at her man's house for the first time, and we were gonna go hang out. And my GPS at the time cut out, and I'm like, okay, I think it's here. It's like there's woods everywhere in the middle of nowhere, and there are just like signs posted to trees that's like, trespasser will be shot. Do not trespass, do not. And I knocked on the door, and I'm just like, well, hopefully they don't shoot a cute blonde. Like, what?
Boy, I am nervous. Oh, yeah. I feel like it's like Southern Oregon and Northern California have their kind of own thing going on.
Yeah, because it's very woodsy.
It's super
Very-
woodsy, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
they just don't see other people, so they have no idea.
That could be it. That, you know, some of the I would like party and hang out up there, and it's like you're just wandering. I got well, I was also a little tipsy, but I got lost in someone's front yard because it was so large.
Oh my god. You can't see anything through the trees. There's just so many things. It's massive. You're like, I don't know where that bonfire went, but it's gone.
Yeah, I went out to get something from the car, and I don't know where I am.
I somehow found my car, but not the other way around.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, like that area up there is definitely because like I was living in like up near Portland,
Okay.
which is like super progressive, right? But the second you step outside of Portland is like all of a sudden people have like Trump flags on the back of their car, and you're like, oh, that was 2 years ago. But okay, yeah. And like, okay, you know.
You're like, how did? Oh, okay.
Did you never take it to, like, I know you see it because it's like a it's like a flag, not like.
Oh yeah, there were many houses covered in flags that I've seen in Pennsylvania, and I'm just like, but oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but they're like, it's always like right outside of like those big cities that you're like, yeah, like is this why you're like just out here? You're like want to be close enough to the city, but like,
But yeah, I think so.
I
Not
get
get
it.
any flack.
Right. Like, oh no, I'm out here. I'm fine out here.
Yeah. With
Fine
my
out here. There's
people.
too many young people in the city, and you're like, oh, there it is. Okay, I see. So you're working at that. Sorry to kind of jump all over the place. So you were
No,
working
you're okay.
at this place that you. I mean, it from the way you talk about it, it really does sound like you really liked what you were doing.
Did. It was refreshing, and it was where I have worked in an office.
Mhm.
And I really don't like the office environment.
Fair.
But even though it was working in an office, it was still laid back enough that like in between calls or in between jobs, like I could
Mhm.
draw or read a book or so it wasn't like intense or until the end. It wasn't just like an intense like, oh, you have 2 seconds to go to the bathroom, well here's something else for you to do, or you
Oh,
must
yeah.
be bored, or here's this, or blah blah blah. But it was more of like a laid back, and like my bosses were awesome, like that 1,000,000%.
Oh yeah.
Helps the job. Like my friend worked there, and that was a little, even though the owner and the boss were very conservative, me and my friend are very liberal, and we would like message each other little jokes and
Mhm.
and like giggle about stuff the bosses were saying, and so that added to the fun, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been of the impression that people don't quit like the job itself. Generally, people quit bosses.
Oh yeah.
Like
I would
of
say
course,
so,
there are
yeah.
jobs that you're like, this is awful. I didn't know what it was signing up for, that kind of thing. But like,
Come here.
I quit working in the produce section at the grocery store, which is this great job. It was awesome. All I did was sit in the back in this little cooler, and you know, all like the prepackaged fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. That was me, right?
Okay.
So like,
That's a cush job.
it's super easy, and it was like my shift. And get this, like with your little crown on your head, it's a princess shift. Literally, like literally, I went from from 10 to 3.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
The best shift ever.
10
Okay.
to 3.
But your
Monday,
boss was an asshole.
Monday through Friday. Easiest job ever in the middle of the summer. Like, so like, I'm staying cool because I'm inside. I can just sit in the back and listen to music, and like just kind of hang out. But like I'm like cutting watermelon and corn and just all these. That's all I'm doing every day. And so like there were times it got monotonous, but it wasn't that bad, right?
Yeah.
They were like,
comparatively, no.
hey, we need like 60 things of salsa, and it's like, okay, you know, like no problem. And you throw in an album on your headphones and you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great job. Until, of course, right? They hire this new manager guy, and he checks on me every like 3.5 minutes.
Oh, micromanagers are the worst.
And literally, like, if I like changed the song on my iPod or whatever,
it's like, what are you doing?
You'd be like,
what are you doing?
Be like, hey, are you like, you got time to lean, you got time to clean, type of thing.
Looking at your phone, looking at what are you doing?
And I'm changing the song because this was like, I want to say it was like 07, 08 or something like that.
Oh, iPod days.
Yeah, iPod days, literally. iPod Classic. That thing right there, like that big, whatever.
The old iPod.
I loved it. 160 gig, give me a break.
That was life.
Yeah.
Like that was my life. Walking home from school, walking between classes, art classes, like I was glued to my iPod.
Yeah. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I had so much music on there, and like I still have it. It still works.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think if I plugged it into a computer, it might explode because it runs really, really hot, but it still works.
Oh.
Because there's like a little fan in there, right?
Yeah.
It's like it gets hot. But yeah, so like people quit bosses.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, they're like, I'm tired of this guy, or I'm tired of this person, whatever they are.
Especially when someone new comes in and you're like, I already have my groove down. I get my work done. Please stop checking up on me.
Right.
Please.
Yeah. And they come in a lot, and they just, I mean, micromanagers are up there. I've had a couple restaurant bosses that weren't great.
Mm.
Because they're like, yeah, because I guarantee you got stories about like, well, this is what corporate said, and you're like, no, this is what you said.
Yeah. Oh my God. At the place that I work at right now, like, we can't sit at the bar after after our shift. If I come in on a random day and I want to sit at the bar, we can't sit at the bar. And I was like, is that a blank policy? And they're like, oh no, someone ruined it. Someone absolutely ruined it. And I was like, but I immediately made friends with the bartenders. Yeah, I'm like, I'll be respectful. And then there's like a limit to how many drinks you can get, which I understand.
Sure.
But it was crazy coming from a bar that was like, oh, we left you a present at the service station, and it would be a shot of Fireball for you to take. Like, we just take shots all day. And then and then this place where it's like, oh well, you can't do this, can't do that, can't,
right,
any of these things, can't even drink at the bar on my day off.
On your day off, right. Right, God forbid you do something on your day off.
Yeah, God forbid I want to give money to the bartenders.
Yeah, I'm giving money back to you. What are you mad about?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you happy? Isn't you're supposed to stay in the black? Yeah, I definitely, I miss the days of restaurant work, and I don't like. I definitely
it can be very stressful.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course, right? Like
so stressful.
The bartending stuff, like where people would come in, and I had somebody. It's like, I want a Maker's Mark and Coke.
Okay.
Sure, no problem. And they said light ice and light Coke. And I'm like, all right, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me like, but they said in a pint glass, of course, right? So like, it's like, oh, okay. So you want me to light ice, light Coke in a pint glass? They literally hand them a glass that's like half full.
Yeah, because what else are you
There's
supposed
nothing
to do?
else in there.
There's nothing else you're supposed to. I can legally, I can only serve you this much alcohol, like, or I get in trouble.
Right.
So it's,
So they're like, where's the rest of my drink? And I'm like, oh, so you wanted me to pour like 7 or 8 shots of Maker's Mark in here?
And only charge you
Sure, I can do
whatever money. Like, I'll do that, but it's a double or triple.
But that'll be $53 or whatever. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
Like I legally can't. And of course, like, I'm not even like a that wasn't like my job as a bartender, but I helped because it was like it was a kind of a local bar type thing. So like I would pour basically wells and like some mixed drinks, but they were never like the fancy ones. So if they wanted like kamikazes or lemon drops and stuff like that, like I couldn't do that.
I'd pass it off to a professional.
Right. But if it was just like someone was like, hey, can I get a whiskey Coke? Wells, fine. I'd be like, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I can do that. I know how to work a soda gun.
Yeah, I know how to make a mimosa.
Those are good too. Those are good too. I learned a lot of tricks on how to open those very quickly. The champagne bottles.
Oh yeah, we got a crash course. I worked with a lot of people didn't like her. For whatever social skill I have, I immediately get along with the person that like people are like they don't like anybody, and then immediately I gravitate towards that person. We end up working well together. We end up liking each other. So there was this people would call her a hard ass bartender. We worked on Sundays, and she's like, hey, I would have the whole upstairs to myself most Sundays.
Yeah.
We're two floors, and she was like, if it's a mimosa or Bloody Mary, make it yourself, because she's the only bartender, so she's getting inundated. And then she would like let us go back and pour beers, and then the same, like I learned I can make a gin and tonic or easy drinks. But she's like, I'm gonna give you guys a crash course, and she worked out. She was so muscly. She's like, I'm gonna give you a crash course how to open the champagne bottle, because we were all scared. Right. And she's like, woo! It made it look so easy. And I went to go open up my first one, and I'm like, Natalie, help me.
Help,
please, it's stuck. My like spaghetti arms.
She's like, it's not. It's just, you know.
Yeah, she's just like, what? Well, there you go.
What do you mean? Hands it back to you. It's like flowing all on you, and you're like, thanks.
Oh.
Man, there were definitely days of like great camaraderie with like service people, and like when the restaurant, like wherever you're at, it's like super flowing really well, and everyone's like getting served and happy and getting tipped out really well. And then of course like the days where it just seems like everybody who comes in is in a shitty mood.
Oh, those are the worst.
And
everyone wants to go home.
Well,
everyone's like, when am I getting cut?
Yeah, it's like a Wednesday, and everyone's just like, not. I mean, they're willing to be there, of course, but they're like, the people who come in on a Wednesday like had a hard day, and so they're just like mad that they're even at a restaurant. You're like, why are you here?
Yeah,
get out of here.
Doing?
Just, I'm not gonna be mad. Go ahead. Take your. I'm sorry, there's too much ice in your water. You know, like those have been pre-filled and sitting on that counter for 40 minutes. What do you want from me? Like, sorry. I'll get one from the back that's been there for 50. Yeah. So, shifting gears a little bit. You left the job mostly because of like living space reasons. You were like, why am I even in Philly area if I can't even fucking live in Philly?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I might as well go into a place where I prefer living.
Yeah. If it's the same, why not go live in California?
Right.
But I know not everybody likes it. I would get some people in Philly when I'm like, oh, I'm from California, and a lot of people would be like, I went there once and I hated it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't represent the whole state, but that's fine. Like the third most popular place in the world, but whatever. Like that's.
I guess people don't like sunshine every day, but.
Yeah, you do you. No, there's cloudy days every so often.
Yeah, we did have typhoon weather, so.
And I mean, I remember when it rained once, and literally the one time I've ever seen rain in California, and people were like, I don't like, what do we do? Like,
Yeah, you kind of just stay inside, and it Northern and Southern California vary so much on the weather because here in Northern California, where I'm at, over the summer it'll be like week blocks of 100 degrees or over
Right.
100-degree weather, and then down there, if it dips below 60 degrees and if it gets over 90 degrees, people there just freak out and don't know what to do.
Ugh.
What a life.
What a life. So spoiled by temperature.
Yeah.
60's like not even like hoodie weather. That's like t-shirt weather. You know,
It,
like
60 is so nice.
60's like
50 is even nice. It's been like 52 and I'm just like, oh.
yeah, you're like, oh yeah, that's like if I wanted it really chilly in my car.
Yeah.
That's what I
Really
put it
chilly
at.
in my house.
Yeah. Like in case it's 100,000 degrees outside. But yeah, so you left there, got to California. Were you looking into design jobs when you got to California, or was it?
I saw a graphic design job, but it was over my level. Like it was more of they wanted you to, which I could learn how to use the cutting machine and the folder and
Right.
learn how to use the printer, but I'm not ready out the gate to use those things. I may chop off a finger, but
Sure.
it was surprisingly, but the same thing happened when I moved out east. It's like you have to get a job doing something, and then you can get hired anywhere. Like no one will touch you, and then you get one job, and then it's like you can walk in. So I was without a job when I came out here for like 2 months or something like that, and
Okay.
then I giggled at the place that I worked at now, and I'm like, I'm embarrassed that I'm working there. But they're gonna hire me, and then I can move on to something else. And I've surprisingly liked it, like surprisingly like the people, and
Yeah.
even though it gets overwhelming with like 9 table sections and 10 table sections, but I'm thankful that they took a chance on me.
I mean, you've done it before, you know.
Oh yeah. Even still, I would apply to a lot of like waitressing jobs, and they would not hire me. And I'm like, I have so much experience.
Yeah.
Like, please, I live here now. Like,
Yeah, for real. Like it's there's a lot of times out there where it's people like the whole like almost too much experience is a weird thing that people have said. I'm like, what do you mean too much experience?
Overqualified is really weird, and
Yeah,
it's like,
isn't that a good thing? Like,
yeah, and I know some people, like, I've changed job fields quite a bit. Well, it's all like in the realm of customer service, but like some people just change jobs a lot, or they
totally.
realize like, I don't like doing this anymore. Maybe I want to do this, or maybe I want to
Yeah.
do this instead. And it's hard that you get pegged into one thing when it's hard to explore other things, or you're overqualified, or
Right.
you know. All the cuties in chat.
Yes, of course, yes. So now that you're a little more settled, you're a little more like settled into kind of the general groove of things, as it were. Where does your content creation get to kind of fit into all of it?
A thing that I like about working in a restaurant is your schedule is really flexible. I'm able to work part-time, thankfully. So it's like I have time where I didn't have it before working in graphic design to really commit the time, or I would be tired after work and cancel streams. And
Sure.
It's something that I had to pick a job in mind to make time for.
Okay. So that actually factored into your decision.
Yeah,
That's
and into like staying in the server realm.
right.
I found out of like working retail, working call center, working a front desk, doing all these customer things. People are nicest to you when you're their server. Like people are so much nicer to you when you're their server
I would agree with that
than
most of the
anything
time,
else.
of course. Most of the
Yeah, most of the time. You do get some outliers, but
I've definitely gotten the like, I can't believe you would do this to me, as in like, you know, their food was a little late or something.
yeah.
It's like earth shattering for them.
Oh
Like, I
my
get
God.
it, you're hungry. I've been there, you know.
But it's just eggs.
It's just,
We can remake them, I promise.
yeah, they're still warm, you know, like
Yeah.
they're still hot, like food's still hot, still all good. I'm sorry that literally the entire restaurant's full and it took longer than 8 minutes to get your food. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry that your food took longer on a Sunday morning to get to
At
you.
a breakfast restaurant? Oh my God.
Oh my God. I worked at a breakfast chain restaurant that was a chain all up and down the East Coast, and like they would hire anybody. They would hire anybody, and we had some people that worked on the line that didn't know how to read, and that is very intricate when you're reading tickets. So
on the line?
oh yeah, there are a couple people on the line that couldn't read. So it was like our kitchen would crash all the time, orders would come out wrong, and then it was a place too that it's like however you want it, we can make it, which is also gives a huge margin of error anyway.
Right.
But I ended up leaving because it was like the kitchen would always crash. People are mad at me. The one time it eggs were missing from my ticket, and I'm like, hey, I just need over easy eggs, which takes 2 seconds, and 30 minutes later, I'm like apologizing to the table, like, hey, I don't know why your eggs are taking so long.
Like, you don't have to be able to read super well to be on a line, but just be able to read the ticket.
I was very surprised when I found that out, when people are like, oh yeah, the kitchen crashes because a lot of people don't know how to read on the line, and I was like, oh, okay.
So
all right.
Wouldn't you want to put them in a...
Wouldn't you want to help,
or like in a position where they
facilitate,
wouldn't
or
have to do that?
Yeah,
Or they wouldn't have to
don't know.
read?
Like you would think so.
Busing or dishwashing or things like that, maybe?
You would think you would want to work with people's strengths, but then that was also a place too where like the best manager that we had, so it was a place that if there was anything wrong with your meal, if you did not like your meal for any reason, they would comp your food.
Of course.
They would comp your food. People would take advantage of it a lot, and the one manager would like try and stick up for the waitresses and all of that, and he ended up getting fired. So it kind of like went downhill from there.
At that particular place, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh well, people know that they can come in and order something and then not be the wrong thing, and then get their food comped, eat all of it. Yeah, some shady stuff.
It wasn't good, and you're like, okay.
You ate all of it, but okay.
You didn't say anything when I came by and was like, how's everything?
Yeah, the 10 other times I checked on you, but now I dropped the bill.
Yeah. And now you're not going to tip because it's all comp.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in the breakfast restaurant that I was at. I was hired by the owners. It was just this older couple. They were like in their 50s, 60s-ish. And I was like 17 at the time, and they literally came in. Like, I had this like old dude like yelling at me and calling me like legit like bad names. It was like, I had the manager's like, his name was Chris, and he just came out and he was just like, how are you gonna fucking yell at a 17-year-old? What's the matter with you? He's like, this dude's in a high school. He's here on a Sunday morning. Like,
we need more managers like that.
I know, because like it opened at 5. Like, he had to get there early, right?
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Right. So
I've
like,
never worked at a breakfast place so like earliest I've ever had to be there was 6:30.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Usually, like it opened at 5, and like they wanted you there between like 5:36.
Okay.
So like,
That's
if
not
anybody
that's still
came in
bad.
at exactly 5, they're like, "We'll take care of you." But like,
Okay.
yeah, I felt bad for the chefs because like, obviously, kitchen culture is a whole separate world, and they're out doing cocaine all night or whatever.
Yeah,
And
oh my god. Everybody's still drunk the
and
night
then
before.
they come in, and then they're all pissed off when they're just like, eggs, fuck,
Who the fuck is ordering eggs at 5 a.m.?
Who the fuck orders breakfast here? So we're literally open till like 3:30. Like we're like a breakfast lunch place. That's it. Like, man,
You just gotta hold it together for a few more hours, man.
it's okay. Toast? Are you fucking kidding me? It's great. I love those are always the best. And there was also a way you could like print tickets, because it would print directly to kitchen, and you'd like print it and then void it very quickly, and hearing their like reactions to like this fake order we put in that has like a million modifications. Hearing their reactions was great. It was a great way to like wake them up a little bit.
Wake them up, or all the time I would forget to put a bacon, and I'd be like, I need a side of bacon on the fly, and they'd be like, what the fuck? Like, it's early.
Sorry. I need a shot of Fireball. So you really factored in your content creation into your job selection. So does that mean that content creation is like almost like above whatever you're kind of working?
I mean, a lot of my money goes towards like content creation and my interests and art supplies and cosplay stuff and
Yeah.
and all of those things. So it's kind of like it does facilitate like bills, and I'm saving money to like get an apartment and things like that. It's it definitely is a means to feed my like creative side.
That's like first of all, how absolutely lucky you are to like get that, right? To have that like ability to do that, right?
I do feel very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. And like to be able to fulfill your kind of is content creation like what's the ultimate dream of that? Is it like Twitch partner? Is it like YouTuber? Is it what I don't know, model? What's like way up at the top, if you even know?
Oh, I would die if like I became a Instagram model. Like I would just love to make content all the time. I originally started because the new Animal Crossing was going to come out, and I was like, you know what, this is so much fun. I was watching other people's YouTube videos of them streaming it, and I'm like, I want to do that. So didn't know anything about computers, nothing at all, and I got my computer, and then kind of fell down the rabbit hole. Learned as you have, and many other people, you learn about audio and lights and all the other million things that go into content creation, and it just because I'm a creative person in general, it just really sparked like I love it. I can't get enough. I love making my own emotes. I love making little graphics. I love doing all that together. So it just really jives well with me.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do it full time. I got to do it full time during the pandemic when I was like first starting out, didn't know anything, and I would die to get that sort of opportunity again.
Right. Yeah. So I have friends who are in the sex worker business, right? And like some of them are like fairly high up models. Lima, who was on the last stream, the last TravTalks, she talked about how like the whole Instagram modeling thing is like this very odd thing, because like I don't know about you, I get brands that reach out to me that have like nothing to do with my content, you know, but they're almost always for like the what's the word I'm looking for, like the we'll give you a code, and then the people who use your code, you get a fucking nickel or whatever, right?
It's like those, and it's a bunch of scam companies too that'll reach out to you, or like the promote it here, promote it on Sexy Feet, promote it over here, and you're just like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like she was saying that like get a ton of those, but then like the easiest content to ever make in the world is like when it's just like some company that's like, will you hold a bottle of our product in your next thing and just say how much you like it in a post, and we'll give you like $1,000 or whatever.
Oh my god.
And she was like, yeah, I could do that, you know? Like,
yeah, I could do that.
you know,
That's
so
definitely
she's just like and like takes a
I
picture.
drink water.
Yeah, like check out this whatever sports drink, you know. And then hashtag ad, and then like boom, like done.
Yeah, they're I'm starting to reach out more to companies and like learning. That was a whole new thing too, of learning how to brand yourself to people, and I'm still trying to learn and still trying to figure it out.
Right.
But I like just recently this year was able to get paid for some of my posted ads and posted content with a company that I really like using, or I use their products all the time, and it's well known around Twitch. But like the Udi, they're super awesome, and then they will reach out to me now and be like, hey, we know you have this Udi. Do you want to, like, pizza day is coming up, and do you want to take a picture in pizza Udi, and we'll give you some money? And I'm like, yes, I would love to.
Yeah, of course.
That's also something like I've been streaming for 3 years. Like I never thought I would do that at all.
Yeah, and then coming up with like you also want to make sure that you're aligning with like even a company that will pay you. You're like, do I align with what they are too? Because you don't want to like work for somebody who first is like, I don't know if you remember, it was a few months ago, but that like company that like we're gonna start a new Twitch, and you're gonna get a 90-10 cut, and like this, that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I do.
And
oh
like
my
a bunch of people I knew were like, hell yeah, like that sounds great. And like I've kind of learned, of course, we've all kind of learned, a few people like it's too good to be true.
And it is, yeah.
Is, right. So it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like keep watch of this. It's like
I'm gonna watch it from afar, and then
great. And like
it completely disappeared, and you were like, okay, well,
because the dude, like the main dude, like started like calling people names, and like
that was so crazy. And then it was just streamer Twitter is so entertaining. It's so wild. Entertaining to watch, and it's so wild because like what is now? There's this whole rant about microphones, USB microphones, but it was like people were just trying to ask him questions about the platform because they're interested. You know, their questions I saw were not out of left field or anything like that. People are just curious about your service and things that you're offering. And he would block people, call them names, do all this crazy stuff. And I was like, ooh, that's not a good look.
Yeah, well, like this one person was just like, how are you going? Like, Twitch as a company is constantly considering paying us less because it costs, quote unquote, so much to run this website. How are you going to keep costs down if you're giving us more money versus what you're taking? And like his response would be like, shut up, fatso. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Like how is that helpful? Like it's such a legit question. We're like,
it's such a legit question, and you could give such a roundabout political answer.
Right. You could give a very like
doesn't answer anything. Yeah, that's just like, oh well, we'll do it because of this, or pull something out of your ass. Don't
right. Like it could be like between advertisements and contract we have with blah 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 or whatever. Right? Like I'm not gonna ask details about your contracts.
Yeah, just pull something better than that. I don't know. 12-year-olds could. There's some professional. Like there was also a computer company that some people were partnered with that they ended up exposing themselves as being awful people. And
was this they like somebody won the thing like on a contest or whatever, and then they like looked at their profile live and were like, nah.
Yeah, yes, and
that.
made comments or something about it, and it's like, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that?
They were like live, like
yeah.
You can't edit that shit. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they were like, I remember it being like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this person. They're like too small or whatever they said, and it was just like, ew, like
why, if you're going to be like that, like have a predetermined, I don't know, don't do that, don't do that.
Well, like first of all, inside thoughts, and then like
yeah, true.
Like, there are people out there. I feel like everybody has this. There's no person that is 100% positive out there, and I feel like fake positivity is more damaging than like than being like honest about it. It's like, I specifically don't like this creator because of A, B, and C, but those are my things. Like, if you like them, go for it, you know. I don't like this particular person because of this, but you can like them all you want, you know. Like that's I feel like that's much more real and honest.
Oh yeah, because we're all gonna have personal tastes and
right.
preferences and things like that.
Right, and like, because I see these people who are just like, and of course it's the internet, so like you post what you want, and like everything this person posts is just like extremely positive and everything's amazing all the time forever, and I'm like, it gives me like the ick, because I'm like, it feels so fake.
Yeah,
it's okay to be real once in a while and be like, God, my depression's kicking the ever living shit out of me, you know, whatever.
It's a night, like the transition of when you were younger, and it was like, oh, you know, nobody ever talks about mental illness, and it's really freeing to read like, oh, I can't get out of bed because of my fucking depression, and you're like, you know what, I have days like that too, like I'm not alone. So I like that push towards talking about mental health and talking about issues and stuff and making that more. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's there is like a piece of openness to it, and it's and obviously like nuance gets like totally lost in the internet, right? So while I'm like kind of joking around a little bit about like how I've been raw dogging my mental health because it's fun to say, but it's also true. Like I have a really hard time focusing at work, and like I've noticed that I've been consuming a whole lot more like sugary things, and like, you know, like and I'm like, okay, like things are happening.
Things are happening that I don't like.
Things are happening that I've been trying to avoid. Here we are again. Are you comfortable talking about that kind of mental health stuff, like with your audience? I mean, obviously you're willing to be like, I'm going to urgent care, but like,
oh yeah. I do talk about that stuff because I do have days where it's like, oh, I'm too depressed, I can't stream, or like I have really bad anxiety, which I've made a couple of friends who also have really severe anxiety, and that's been such a nice thing when someone understands that I can't make a phone call. Like I'm
Those are
afraid
hard.
to make this phone call. I'm afraid to leave my house today because of this or that, or I don't want to do this today. Or so I talk about those things. It's still like a mental health like journey. Like I've seen a therapist before, and then I stopped seeing her because I went there for one thing, and then she was like, I don't think you have that, I think you have this, and I was like, that's completely left field, I have no idea. Like
Interesting.
um my mom worked when she worked at the middle school, she worked in special ed, and I told her, I was like, well, and the therapist tried to tell me I was bipolar, and my mom's like, no, I don't think that at all. But then again, it's like, oh, is it a mom thing, or she doesn't
Right.
want to, you know? So it's like something I'm trying to look into, and then I have better insurance now, and I'm gonna try and investigate that more. But that was really a fun. I was like, hey, I think I am I have ADHD, and they're like, no, I think you're bipolar.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
always
like, oh, okay.
like diagnosis is definitely like an ongoing process, and this is just from the mental health side of things as a therapist, right? Like you come in for your assessment and we sit and talk for however long, and the way unfortunately that insurance runs the game is they're like, before you start anything we need a diagnosis. It's like, I've talked to them for 2 hours and you want me to make this like life altering thing?
Yeah, and I remember she was like, like she asked me the questionnaire and asked me a bunch of things, and then she was like, well, according to the questionnaire, there's this that's happening, and then there's this, and I'm like, well, I'm having trouble focusing and staying on task, and those were my issues that I came here for, and we're completely out of left field now. But
I mean, ADHD has its like shared symptoms with bipolar, but they're not like mutually exclusive to one another. Like it's kind of bold to be like, I think I have this and I've done some research and this is what I've seen, and then they're just like, nah, fuck you, you don't know what you've seen, you know.
You don't know any of that.
I'm the professional, and I'm like, oh.
Oh my goodness.
So was that your only like experience with a therapist?
I saw her a little bit, and then it was like that part of the pandemic really screwed things over. If you're trying to go to the doctor, make a doctor's appointment, nobody's taking new clients at the moment. This, that, and the other, which I think, fingers crossed, I think that's calming down. So
it has a lot. I'm taking clients, but I only see kids, so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So hopefully I'll be able to like get geared up with a better, or somebody who I gel with better.
Yeah. So that like you didn't see any as a kid or anything like that? Wow. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm glad that like, well, it did leave kind of a gross taste in your mouth. You weren't like, all right, fuck it, I'm giving up forever. Because I definitely know people who would.
She was a very nice, she was a nice enough therapist, nice enough lady. And then you also felt the crunch too of like the timer. And they were very full because it was during the pandemic, so they're very full, they're very booked, have to be like, it was video calls, have to be on time, have to, you know, which I completely understand. But it would be like, if I had to reschedule an appointment, I would have to wait a month.
Yeah. When I was working, I got hired at a place in February of 2020, and March of 2020 is when everything shut down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So they were like, welcome, here's your office, go home. So
you won't see this for 2 years.
Basically, right? And I was like, oh god, okay. And like, just for those out there, anybody considering the mental health field, don't do video calls with children. It's impossible. High schoolers, some middle schoolers, they can handle it, right? They can handle it. but like elementary school kids,
So many distractions.
well, geez, like they're on a computer, and at the time, of course, they're also in video school. So they're like so sick of just sitting on this computer and then like talking to me after being at school and stuff.
Yeah, so he's just like, they're just like, get out.
So they're like,
Don't.
I'm tired of staring at this screen. I want to go and do something else.
Yeah, I want to go outside.
I'm like, I would love to be able to do that,
but
unfortunately I can't.
This once in a lifetime event is happening. And...
yeah, and like I it's hard to like explain. It's like, I'm sorry that's the way it works, but like I want to be able to help out, talk to you. We found that online board games helped a lot, but
oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like I would be like, all right, here's the link for we're playing Battleship today, you know. But it wasn't Battleship, it's called like Warboats, you know, like or whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, Warboats.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you say.
We got Battleship at home.
Well, you know, legally distinct, right? I'm not trying to get all that. So you're gonna try again in the mental health world. You're gonna like
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard, man. Like you're out there trying to like maintain your kind of normal world while also having somebody come in and tell you, be like, I don't believe you, basically.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have states of mania, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, I don't know, and I kind of looked into it, and then I'm like, maybe some of these things make sense to me in my life, but then it's like there are so many things that intersect, like you were saying, together. So it's like, is it this, or is it that, or is it this, or is it and I'm not, I don't know. I would just like to see, like, if it is, it is, and it's something I have to deal with. But I would just like a second opinion. And
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've kind of like I said, I'm just glad that you haven't like immediately been like, well, one person got it wrong, fuck it forever, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel, and I asked a couple other people who have either been diagnosed or not diagnosed, about like their ADHD symptoms and stuff like that. Do you feel like there are times when it like almost helps the creative process?
Definitely, when you're hyper focused and you're like,
sure,
I'm not gonna get out of this seat. It doesn't, like, I'll go day, or I'll have a day where I'll forget to eat because I'm just so hyper focused on trying to make something, trying to get something out. Like there was one night I decided to rebrand my whole channel, and I stayed up all night because I was just like, I feel creative, I feel good. And I always thought that was more of an artist thing, because all throughout my life I'm like, all right, it's 2 a.m, let's paint, or let's do this, or let's do that, or I feel like being creative, so I'm gonna call out of work and draw something instead.
Right.
You're listening to me and you're like, you kind of sound a little bipolar.
I'm not working right now.
Okay.
I'm not working. Plus, I see, like I said, I see children, so. I work with kids because they're more fun than adults. No offense.
I could see that, because I feel like there would be so many adults that are like, you're not going to tell me anything, and I don't want to talk to you, and I'm here I'm not here for myself. I'm just here because I have to be. And although some kids are like that too. But...
I did get, like, when I first started working, I worked with I worked in the substance abuse field. And there were plenty of people who did not want to be there. Like, I don't have a problem.
Really tough.
You know, I just got caught for a DUI, and I'm like, it's your third one, but okay. You know, things like that. But like, there's obviously all of those people who really, really don't want to be there. You can always tell the people who do want to be there and really want to change and do the things to kind of like truly get better. Yeah, and then obviously like kids who are legally or like have to go. And I feel like I maybe it's a me thing, not everybody thing, but I know this, that like when you align with them and they're just like, I don't want to be here, this is fucking stupid, I'll be like, it is fucking stupid. Why are you here? You know?
I don't want to be here either. It's Monday.
And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm fucking busy, and I still have you coming in here. Like, what's up? You know? Like,
You just
kind of
feel your
aligning with
feelings
that.
or not.
Kind of like getting that, like, matching that kind of like vibe and anger, and like, I get it. But we might as well, like, if you're gonna be here, we might as well do something with it. And that
Not
way,
waste everybody's time.
and that way you can get your PO off your back or whatever.
Oh, oh gosh.
Cause that's what they want, right?
Yeah, that is true. Oh my goodness. Yeah, why wouldn't you're there anyway, and you have to be there anyway, so why not?
Let's do something so I can tell your PO, your probation officer, that you're doing fine.
Yeah.
And then they get off your back, I get off your back, and you never have to deal with me again. It's kind of it's obviously everybody has their own interests, and I feel like, do you feel like you have like this kind of like picture of a therapist in your mind, like what you would want out of one?
Not really. I guess somebody who's just like easy to talk to would be, or someone who's like welcoming, or I don't know. I haven't thought of like what my perfect therapist would be or anything like that. Just somebody easy to talk to.
Right. And I know that like when you say like the artist thing, like I connect that too. Because there's definitely moments where I'm just, it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I'm just like, you know,
let's redecorate the house. Yeah,
I've definitely thought about rearranging my entire stream room. You know,
I love because I know you've seen the TikToks that are like banging around your room at 3 a.m. and your mom comes in and you just have like your desk over your head, like, oh hey,
morning. Yeah.
Hello.
I shared a wall with my parents growing up, so like I definitely did it a few times, but I was definitely like so quiet with it.
Just inching your desk.
Like to the best of my ability, I had to be like just like. And then if it like made too loud of a noise, I'd like stop and be like, and I'd be like, ah, and just like sit there and wait. Because if I hear like
rustling,
their bed like creak or whatever, and it'd be like, okay, well,
you're like hide under the covers.
Like I gotta go to bed, I guess. So I definitely relate to the whole like all of a sudden you get these bursts of just like creative energy, which can be really helpful in some scenarios. And then other times where you just like sit there and like, I don't know if you deal with this, but I know that I sit there and I'll doom scroll for fucking hours.
I do get caught in that, and that's a big reason why I'm not as active on TikTok anymore, because I don't know what it is, but it'll be 5 a.m. and then I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell?
They make it so easy to just keep going.
And some of it's so stupid, like I don't know if you made it to Metallic Biscuit Beach Lady TikTok. Like that was a sector of TikTok that I was on for a while, and like there's another streamer, Real Waifu, who we're both on this Metallic Biscuit Lady TikTok.
Metallic
randomly.
Biscuit Lady?
So there's a filter. You would be a metallic lady in a bikini walking on the beach, and the song was like, taste the biscuit, taste the goodness of the biscuit, and it turned into this whole thing. And I talked about it on my stream. I'm like, who else is on Metallic Lady TikTok? And so many people are like, no, I'm on. choir boy TikTok or Rolex TikTok and I'm like, I've never even seen these facets of TikTok before, but yet I'm randomly stuck on Metallic Beach Lady.
I my TikTok, it's fairly eclectic. I think my TikTok hears my partner's TikTok and thinks I'm like a lesbian woman. So sometimes I get that.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's incorrect. This was not meant for me. I get streamer TikTok, and like I've joked about streamer TikTok because like there's like 4 jokes that everybody uses.
Oh my god, yeah. I've definitely used them before.
And of course, same.
Everybody.
Because it's like fuck. I mean, if you're gonna reward me for using the same joke as everybody else, okay.
Yeah, I might as well.
It doesn't feel very creative, but okay. It's like me when I forget to unmute my mic, and you're like, yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, me when I get a toxic chatter.
Oh yeah. And I try, you can try and be creative as you can with it, but like, do my best, man.
Yeah, it's hard, and then they change the algorithm all the time, and
Yes.
I post something randomly, and it'll get 50 million, or not 50 million, 50,000
Whoa.
hits or whatever on it.
50
Like,
million.
I posted one of the last things, it got 50,000, and I still will get like people liking it, people still asking the same thing about it, and then I posted like an update because it was about Silent Hill 3,
right?
And people ask about 2. I posted about 2, and then it gets nothing. So I'm like, I don't know what the algorithm is, what's going on, what.
I don't know, because my most popular TikTok is a joke I thought of in like 10 seconds, and it's like a persona joke.
What is the joke?
It's a duet with like a person who's cosplaying one of the characters.
Okay.
I'll have to send it to you. It's because it sounds really stupid if I explain it. Like they're cosplaying. Have you played Persona 5 at all?
Mm-hmm.
So they're cosplaying Fox.
Okay. Okay.
And he's got like his little samurai sword, and he like kind of turns to the side, and he's about to pull it out, and I have like my big double-handed sword, my little Zweihander, and I'm like, you want to go? Let's do this. And then it's just like the da-da-da-da, and he pulls out a gun. And I'm just like, oh fuck, and that's the end of this TikTok. It's got such Vine energy.
Oh, I miss Vine. I
my-
miss Vine so much.
And it's my most popular by like a fucking mile. Like,
That's insane.
and I'm like, guys, I thought of that in 5 seconds. Like what?
Yeah,
I've like thought deeply about some other TikToks and like wrote out a thing, or like really took my time with wanting to say the right thing if I'm calling, like doing a call out or whatever, But then like this stupid joke.
It's always the stupid joke. Because what like, I will still quote some Vines like fuck your chicken strips or avocado, thanks.
Free Shavakadu is a good one.
Free Shavakadu, that was such a good.
Oh yeah, no, there's still good ones out there.
And they were so random. And I guess it was the same, like I had friends who tried to make Vines and they didn't hit. But free Shavakadu. Free Shavakadu!
I think I made like 5 Vines. And I don't remember like any of them. Because I don't think any of them did all that well. But now, of course, like TikTok does it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And then now it's like Instagram is trying to be TikTok, and
they're all the same at this point.
Oh yeah, and it's like even Twitter before the changeover, they tried to take like moments and post stories. And
I remember stories on Twitter, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is not the place for that. Like,
Twitter is where I tell you that my dog tried to bite my nipple, or did bite my nipple this morning, right? Like, that is what That is what my Twitter is for.
That's where. Uh-oh. Did I freeze?
You were frozen, but now I think you're good.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Oh, you're like, Twitter's where I share my secrets, like my deep secrets that I don't want.
I want nobody to see it.
I want nobody to read.
But then it forces you to look at how many people have seen your your tweet, and like, gross.
That's crazy too. The changes that they make, it felt like for a while you would wake up every morning and there would be some new feature on Twitter, and it's like, who asked for this? Nobody Twitter doesn't want this. Twitter ran itself basically.
Yeah, like it was like, I felt like it was truly fine. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't care how many people saw it. You know?
Yeah.
If it got a certain amount of likes or comments or whatever, that was more interesting to look at. And if I really wanted to see, right, you could hit that little button with the little graph thing, and if you really wanted to see your engagement. But it's more about like the comments, or it's more about I think my most like tweet is I made like a cursed Furby Pokemon thing meme, and like that was wild to see what people said about that, and just like, I don't know, Twitter is for random deranged things. And because I never know what, like, again, like TikTok, you don't know what's gonna blow up. And I feel like that world becomes, because like, if I tweet a whole thread about like the whole AI porn thing that's been happening, right?
Oh my god, that too.
Which is horrible, right? I could tweet a whole thread about that, and that'll go okay, and then, but all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know, I think the guy from Bastille is the same guy from Sleep Token, so there you go.
And then people are like, no, fuck you.
And then people are like, how fucking dare you? Those are totally different bands. And I'm like, I know, that's the point. But okay. Or, you know, like it, you know.
Or like, there's the trending somebody interview with a vampire leather jacket is trending. I've seen it in my feed a couple times already, and it's like, that is so random, but
that is
like
weird.
You never know what'll hit.
That is weird. I think in the content creation world, like, there is a little bit of throw it at the wall and see what sticks type of thing. And then like, once you see what sticks, I feel like that's what people will like aim at every single time. Because like, I've noticed on TikTok specifically, and this is just an example, right? Like, one person's like crazy popular video, and then they'll try and like redo that, or like remake it again, you know?
Yeah.
But if you like see somebody who's like dancing every single video, and then they post one video where they're talking about something, it doesn't do anything.
Because it like messes with the algorithm,
right.
And then it's really weird. It's really interesting.
Right. I'm getting a lot of I get a lot of like bi girl TikToks because I think my thing thinks that I'm my wife. I get some dog stuff, which is always nice. Some goofy dog stuff.
Everyone likes dog stuff.
I randomly will get thrown into just like, I'm a content creation coach, and I'll teach you.
I see those too. Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I see those too.
I'm not paying you to be like, you suck, and I'll be like, okay.
Yeah. I randomly get thrown into, as much as I try and get out of the algorithm for it, stripper TikTok keeps trying to drag me in. Like, it's very, I made this, I did all these dances and I made this much money, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm liking that is leading me here.
It's like, a woman? An adult woman?
Yeah.
We heard you have a serving job. Could you?
Do you?
No, I will sometimes try and go out of my way to like, because of course it'll throw me into like straight dude comedy, and like can't stand that garbage. Like where all they do, right? It's the same fucking joke every time, right? It's the same exact joke where it's just like men coming home from work and they like put their shoes down and sit down. And then it's just like women coming home from work, and it's usually like they have their fucking like boxers on their head or whatever. And then it's just like, I need to clean and blah blah blah. And it's like this is such shit comedy.
Or the impersonating your wife stuff. I see that a lot. And some of it's funny, but
some of it's funny, as long as it's not mean spirited.
Yeah.
Right. It's as long as it's not mean spirited, I think it's okay. But there are times when it's just like all they're doing is just like woman bad because woman different, and you're like,
women, all right.
It's so fucking funny, guys. Like, get a better joke. Maybe you're the problem.
Yeah.
My wife's mad at me all the time, and it's like, I wonder
well,
why.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Or there was that poor guy who would scare his girlfriend all the time. He was randomly like, he would show up on my husband's TikTok all the time, and the guy would just like scare his girlfriend every day, all the time, just or do bad stuff, or be like, oh, it's just a prank, it's just a prank, and eventually they broke up, and I'm like, oh, I wonder why.
Weird.
What a coincidence.
Weird that you're basically just like hurting your wife to be like content.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Do you remember that like wave on YouTube?
Oh yeah, it's just a joke, bro.
Yeah.
Just a joke.
It's a prank. It's a prank. They're over there. It's a prank.
It's a prank, bro. It's fine.
It's a prank, and like almost always like it's almost always like cops called or whatever, right?
Yeah, super harmful, super offensive, but it's a prank, bro. It's a prank.
It's a prank. No, I swear. Yeah, they like, come up and like profusely fake bleed all over somebody and like give somebody nightmares forever. They'd be like, it's just a prank. Like,
that reminds me of what was his name? Andre. He had the Adult Swim show. Crap. Dan, what was the TV show?
Eric Andre.
Oh, Eric Andre. Yeah, it would remind me of stuff like that, but obviously he has a whole production crew and things like that,
right?
Where he would do random stuff like bleed on people or big pee on people or do outrageous like come out naked for celebrities,
right,
and uncomfortable things, but yeah, a lot of it felt like that. Reminiscent of that.
There were definitely times when I felt like watching the Eric Andre show, I'd be like, wow, this like there's like a weird like there's like a weird intellectual quality to this, and then other times I'm just like, this is just meant because he's like haha fart funny, like. Oh
yeah, some of the funny ones where the person had no idea what they were signing up for, because I honestly don't think he's like that in real life. Like, no. He played in the Righteous Gemstones, and I saw him and I was like, oh my god, it's weird to not see you being weird.
Right. You're not being weird right now. That's more weird.
You did smash all your studio set for no reason. But so some people would come onto the show and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I think they try and be like, they're not gonna tell you anything. And I feel like some of those reactions are like semi-genuine.
Yeah, definitely some are
or some are like, I know what the Eric Andre show is, so I'm gonna like kind of be prepared.
Yeah, play along, or I kind of know that something weird's gonna happen.
Like, I don't know when it's coming, but something's happening.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Or they like, they'll like, but the ones where like they're like getting mad, I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, that does. We're just like, oh, it's just a prank. There's the TV camera.
Right. Because then it looks like he's like, he looks like he's like, there's like an alien coming through his desk, and he's just like, and then like somebody looks at him like, why aren't you taking this seriously? And he's like, this is Adult Swim, my guy. Like,
yeah, weird. None of this is real.
Yeah. Are you really gonna get mad at Eric Andre? The guy who says it's time to deliver a pizza ball and has done it like 6 times? It's like a recurring segment.
Oh my god.
Or where he's like out in like the California sun, like drinking ranch, like you know. Like,
yeah, how can you get mad at that? Oh.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't like feel like it. Like...
Oh, because he probably drank the real ranch too.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
No, there's follow through with this man.
there's commitment.
You know what? If you're gonna go literally through and smash all your stuff, you got it. You're not gonna pussyfoot around it. You're gonna really dive through
Oh my god.
your fucking head, break your bookshelf and all these things,
And your desk and
throw a sousaphone and all that stuff, right?
oh my gosh, what a timeline we live in.
That's why like part of me thinks there's like this like weird like he's really thought through this stuff, and then it'll switch and be like just like, man, it's hot out, and he's like drinking ranch, and I'm like, is that like, was that like stupid like high thought, or was there thought into that? And now I'm like confused. You know?
I wonder if that plays into like I know we've definitely seen it on Twitter, the farming engagement, like you just want a reaction. It's like, oh, I'll get a reaction for just drinking ranch.
True. Yeah, and I think the
oh my gosh.
yeah, I mean especially on streamer Twitter, right? Like
oh yeah, don't use USB microphones. What the hell are you talking about?
Don't use the microphone that's most readily available to everyone.
Oh my goodness. Use a microphone that you like I would have no idea how to use that microphone.
I mean,
But-
like I used to host karaoke, so like I get all the systems and stuff, but like that's just expensive.
It's expensive and it's not necessary, especially like what were they saying? They said don't even stream until you can save up $400 for a mic, and I'm just like,
Yep.
I had a $40 Amazon mic when I started, and that does the job. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you can't be consistent, if you don't have a schedule, don't even stream.
yeah, how dare you stream for fun?
Yeah, how dare this be a hobby?
How dare this be something that you just kind of want to do?
Yeah.
There's the consistent, or like people who are like, I swear if you use a webcam, I'm gonna fucking lose it, you know? And you're like,
but
it's a camera. Some people don't even have a camera. Like,
yeah, and it's like the most readily available, easiest to use, easiest to set up. Like,
literally a plug and play 90% of the time.
Yeah, it's why wouldn't you? And then to invest all that money for something that you may not like, you may not be able to keep up with. You may. I know I do it all the time where I'm like, I'm gonna really get into this hobby and I'm gonna buy all the things for this hobby and then not even make a project with it. So,
Heard, yeah.
I'm really into obscure needle felt pointing, and then I don't do any, you know.
Right. Yeah, there's like somebody, I remember it was a few weeks ago, but before the whole stream mic thing, it was the same thing with just like, if you don't like understand the inner workings of like how OBS or Streamlabs things works, like don't even bother. And it was like,
what?
I was like, that shit's complicated.
It's incredibly complicated, and the best way that I learn is by doing. So
Yeah, plenty of people do
I
that.
had no idea about anything in OBS. Like, I was like, oh, I pressed this button and then I'm magically live on the internet. I don't understand the magic behind this, but like, you learn as you go. I
watched hours of YouTube videos.
Yeah, same.
To be like, oh, okay, that's how that works, and people talking about audio quality, and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all. How do I do that?
Yeah,
you know,
how do I
know how to work like a
microphone?
karaoke system. but like internet quality and all this, like I'm like, I don't know any of that.
Yeah, same. And then you learn about, well, if I've equated this to, and the same with like getting a computer. It's like you pull a thread on a sweater and the sweater just starts to unravel, and it's like, well, if I learn about this, then this goes into this, and I have to learn about this, and I have to learn about this, and you know.
Shitty take. Oh my gosh, that was like a recent thing too on Twitter, where the person was just like, put out shitty takes and your engagement goes up. What can I say? Or whatever. And they but like their take was like something super ableist or whatever. I think it was actually what Aaron was talking about. Which just I think it's literally what Aaron was talking about with like the whole like, don't stream if you can't be consistent. I get that real life comes up, but like that's not my problem or whatever.
Dude, like,
and I was like, that's disgusting.
That's disgusting. And then that just feels like the same with microphone Twitter. Like, it's just for engagement.
It has to be, right?
It has to be. No one can be that deranged.
Right?
Or
like...
or maybe it's a thing too where there unfortunately are some people that are like, don't get into streaming, it's oversaturated, don't do it. Where I've always been the opposite. I'm like, do it. I did it. I found so much enjoyment out of it. You will probably find enjoyment out of it. Like, just do it.
Give it a try.
Try
it. That's what I've told people in my chat, in my community and whatever, because they're like, well, I can't do what you do. And I'm like, don't do what I do. Do something else. Like,
yeah, do something else, or you'll find something that you like. Like, I understand it's incredibly intimidating at first to like get behind the camera and talk to yourself and remember all the things that are going on, and you literally have a mini live production that you're in charge of.
Right.
So I understand how daunting that is, because I feel it before every stream.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know. You'll find your niche. You'll find your people out there.
And if it turns out that you might try and fucking hate it too.
Yeah, and then hopefully you didn't spend $400 on a microphone.
On an XLR mic, yeah. Like,
on an XLR mic, yeah.
That you don't know how to use and peaks out constantly. And it's just like, why would you do all that?
I still have such bad, like, I'm definitely, B's husband is well-versed more with microphone, and I'm just gonna have him come over one day and be like, please help me.
Yeah.
Please help me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, YouTube, friends, like, I have a buddy of mine who works as an audio engineer.
Oh my gosh.
So he's literally like, yes, I will come over and kind of look at your stuff and see what I can do, you know?
It's a good friend.
And I'm like, I knew I kept you around for my personal gain. No, it's very much just like, it was just like, I know how to run a karaoke system, and granted, the system I had was pretty fancy, but it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same as all of this.
Yeah.
This is so different, and you know, like, I understand
like
what gain and compression and whatnot is, but do I understand how like a level cap and stuff like that works exactly? No. And he come over and be like, if you scream from over here, it's gonna be different than if you scream right here.
Thank you.
I'm like, cool. Helpful. Yeah, I think there's a lot that comes in with trying something new, while also like, if this is like the ultimate dream, right? Like, whether it's Instagram modeling or Twitch streaming or kind of whatever is out there as like your quote unquote ultimate dream, there's a lot of factors that you learn along the way. And things that are out of your control.
Oh, easily. Because how much is, you know, luck, or being in the right place at the right time, or having the, you know, being ahead of the curve, or...
Right, or yeah, like, the right place, right time thing is so relevant. My biggest rate ever was over 1,000 people, but it was because I randomly streamed on a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh my goodness. Congrats on that. Holy shit. That's awesome.
I'll tell you, that was a lot. It wasn't like panic attack worthy, but I was definitely like, wow, this goes really fast. Like, and literally it was from a person I had not heard of before that day. Like,
oh my gosh.
So I was like, ooh.
Those are fun though. Like, I like a raid from a random person. And then I find out that we follow each other on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I swear I remember that. I definitely, yeah, it literally like right place, right time sometimes for that, like for that kind of thing, right? Or, yeah, like you said, like paying attention to patterns. Everybody could jump on like the brand new game that just comes out, but if everyone's doing it, how are you gonna stand out, et cetera, et cetera? How do you feel? Like, we'll do this question ish before we go to break here. What do you feel like makes you stand out?
I like kind of struggle with that, and I know last year I kind of felt like you know that feeling when you don't feel like you're the main character in your own life. I like struggled with that last year, and but I have tried to focus on like being cozy, being positive, being fun, being chatty, being talkative.
Yeah.
And I've tried to like open up myself more and be less of that creepy, super positive person all the time on Twitter. Even though I try and I always find that you attract more with honey, so I always try and be nice. I always try to be,
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'm a people pleaser. I am always trying to be not agreeable, but you know, I'm easy to work with in real life. Like, my coworkers like me, and it's you know, I don't know, it's just the way that I am. But I don't know, sometimes I struggle. It's hard because you feel like one out of a million, like,
no doubt. Yeah, I mean, shit, like, because you see, like, you look up and you see these people who have, you know, had 10,000 people. Like, that's like a small stadium's worth of people. You're like, oh yeah, God. Like, can't even imagine that. But and at the same time, you're like, okay, but like, I am different. I am unique. And to the people pleasing thing, like, how do you kind of handle when there's negativity in your space? Like, when people come in and are like shitheads, or I was called a very mean name that I don't want to say, but I can type it to you.
Oh my God. Jesus, that always sucks. And I was just chatting streamer for a while, and I would do makeup, and you get some nasty people. You get some nasty people that come in. People would make comments about my nose. People would make comments about my appearance, and I'm just like, you randomly come in here and tell me I have a fat nose, and then you leave. Like, okay. I have been getting, like, it gets hard when because I'm such a nice person. I feel like I was getting trauma dumped on a lot. Yeah, just chatting is so brutal. I would get, like, people come in and be I had this weird thing. Someone came in and they said, I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend, and then someone came in and said that person's lying, and I'm like, this is really, you're being really weird and I don't care. Or like, I'm getting something now recently with the past couple of streams that it's like, oh, my grandma's in the room, so don't cuss. And I'm like, oh, no. And then I got today, my kids are in the room, so don't bend down in front of the camera. And I'm like, you're gone. Like, you're good. I don't do that anyway, but it's like you're gone, fuck off.
That's
like,
weird. Yeah.
But it has been nice to
They're trying to like reverse psychology weirdly
really
to see
weird.
cleavage. Like
Really weird, but it's been nice to like learn boundaries, learn how to turn around that, you know, trauma dump, and better learn how to manage other people while still keeping my own boundaries.
Right. Yeah, I mean, keep like the boundaries are definitely something that has taken time to learn, and absolutely, as Aaron was saying, like just chatting, it can be one of the most brutal places because people just troll that area.
People are so awful. Although I met a bunch of wonderful people.
Same.
But some people come in and just be like, "Fuck you," and you're like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Or
like you get like 3 or 4 at once, and they're all, they're like all in a Discord call, right? They're like all in a Discord call at once, and so they're all like feeding each other lines.
Yeah, or I got a spoiler raid when Resident Evil 8 came out. Welcome in, Raiders. When Resident Evil 8 came out, I was just at the end, and I got a massive raid of people that were just spoiling the ending. And that was
8?
of
Rude.
8, and it was like, luckily I had mods in the chat, and someone I looked away, and they, was banning and deleting people, but that was really like, why would you do that?
That's weird. That's weird. And I've gotten really mean back, but I've also realized I'm like, I don't like being that person, so I'm just like,
yeah,
I try, like, I'll give everybody like a growth opportunity, and be like, no worries, Hambino, thank you for the raid, bye. I'll try and be like, I don't want you to take this as like F you. I want you to take this as get something better to do.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you live your life in this very negative way constantly, that is gonna come back.
Yeah, that's just gonna poison you.
It's gonna bite you. If you choose to continue with this, I can't stop you. Go for it. But you're not gonna do it around here.
A nice thing about streamer Twitter is there was something going around that is like, it is your space, it is your stream, and like, I don't have to people please in my own stream. It's my stream.
Right.
I can make me feel uncomfortable. I can ban you for any reason, and I have wonderful mods, wonderful friends that'll, stand behind me. Or sometimes I have a hard time like registering something that's happening, and like, how do I react to that? So it's nice to have people that I trust in my chat that they're just like, what the fuck, don't feed into that, like, just, or they'll ban, so it's nice to have that.
Yes.
As well, but it's been a very good like growth thing to start streaming, to be like, I don't like you and I don't have to talk to you, goodbye.
Yeah, no, big mod love out there for sure, because like obviously we could technically do it by ourselves, like, because I can look over and hit that little like ban button, and it doesn't take that long, right? But like, to have people that are like looking out, and like they're trying to like not just help, but like be a part of it, and like they're like, I want this to also be a positive space for me as a viewer. And I always like do my best to really kind of push that, I'm definitely the type of streamer to be like, oh my gosh, welcome in, Raiders, hold on, let me get you a shout out, and like one of them has already done it by then, and I'm like, that's right, I have you. I'm so sorry.
I do that all the time, and I feel so bad because some of my mods are like, I guess it wasn't fast enough, and I was like, oh no, I've been a morning streamer for so long, I'm not used to having anybody here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so different, right? Like,
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I always try and tell my mods too. I'm just like, I don't ever want you to feel bad for missing a stream
Same,
or for
yeah.
not being here or for not like because we all mod in other people's channels and
Right.
like sometimes I'm doing something in the other room while I'm listening and I can't always be there. Like I understand that completely. So
Right.
don't feel bad if, something happens.
Right. If you're like, it's like, Twitch is, I've called it, I've heard it called, and I've called it myself, a second screen app. Like, like if you've got two monitors or like whatever, you have it on your computer and you're playing on your TV or whatever, like it's a second screen thing. Like people will put it on and kind of listen, and they'll. I mean, that's almost how I am in a way. Like I will have it like up on my phone while I'm working on notes or playing games while I have it over on this screen or whatever, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's just a second screen thing, and I'm like, of course I'm willing to help. Like if you need me, shout for a mod, I'll be there, type of thing.
And then there's the delay too. I feel so bad sometimes when they're like, "Can I get a mod to blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "I'm delayed on my phone."
Oh yeah,
I'm here.
the phone is hard because like there's like an even longer delay, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely big mod love out there for sure.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, definitely extremely helpful in many ways. I think it's a solid time to take a little break, fill up water bottles, all that stuff. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. We'll do our Q&A. I have random weird questions that I've written down.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. So
okay, I love it.
Yeah, so like those are kinds of the questions I've asked. Of course, for anyone out there who's listening right now, feel free to ask questions to me, to both of us, to just Denim. Like it's all good. We're all just, it's more of the interacty time versus the quote unquote podcasty time. But I feel weird calling it podcast because like it's not on the podcast platforms. And I don't want to be just another fucking white dude with a podcast.
Wait, do you upload your podcast to YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They're all right there.
Because people will throw them on and just listen to them.
Oh yeah, no, that's they're all there. They're just like the unedited VODs, but
okay, good. It's like the easiest, number one, most recommended thing ever is just upload all of your streams to YouTube.
Yeah, and like literally, like that's where all my TravTalks are. I've thought about doing more like quote unquote edited content, like episodic content. But I'm not quite sure.
I gave you a follow. I wasn't following you. I gave you a follow.
Thanks.
Of course.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll be back in just a few. I need to fill up my water bottles. Need to go to the bathroom. All that stuff. But we'll see y'all very soon. Thank you for the follow, by the way, to both you, Denim, and the person who just followed. And we will see you in just a few moments. We'll do a little BRB right here, and then yeah, see you in a sec. Bye. Oh my god. I never muted. Oh no.
Can you hear us?
Oh my gosh. Never muted, and there's been so much going on.
So many farts in the microphone.
Too many.
No, I left.
Oh.
I left. I left. I'm sure you just heard the dog and.
Oh, how is your puppy?
He's good.
Little
He's good. I
cutie.
mean, he's being. This is around the time where he's just like a little hellion, you know?
Yeah, he's going through his puppy chews and
Oh my
being bad
gosh.
and testing limits and
The teething thing is the hard part right now.
oh, how many shoes have you lost? How many socks? How many?
Only
Or-
one pair of socks so far.
Okay.
The shoes he's gone through quite a few because like certain ones he knows how to just tear apart and other ones he's like just not interested in for some reason. But like the ones that are like the strongest meant to be chewed super hard ones, he's just kind of like meh.
Oh.
But then like Squishmallows, he's like, yes, this is it. You know,
oh,
like
they're just because they're probably like tearing through butter for him.
oh my gosh. Yeah, and then like a friend of ours, we have ferrets too, right? So a friend of ours like sent us like a bunch of like tiny little cat toys for the ferrets, but he
Oh,
loves
they're
those
gone.
too.
What breed of dog is he?
So the shelter said he was a golden retriever and German Shepherd mix, but like
Okay.
he's got white on his paws, which is weird.
Mhm.
And his fur isn't really consistent with either one of those.
Yeah, I was he's super cute, but I was trying to figure out what he was.
Behemoth is what he is. He's fucking huge.
Oh.
He's like a little over 4 months, and he's just massive. Like,
Oh my gosh, how much does he weigh?
we went to Martin Luther King Day, so I think it was 2-ish weeks ago, 3 weeks-ish ago.
Mhm.
We went to the vet, and he was 37 pounds.
Oh my
He was
god.
37 pounds there, and we were like, oh. And then she was doing like his like checking his mouth and doing all the stuff, and she's like, so how old did the vet or did the shelter say? And I was like, oh, when we got him, she said 4 months, and then she was like, he's definitely younger than 4 months, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh my god. So he's just a Great Dane, is what you're saying?
I don't know. He's just massive. Or like, is he a chow? Like, but like with German Shepherd, but I don't know.
Oh, he's a cutie.
But
he's
literally like once a day, like if I'm on a walk, people are like, those paws.
oh,
and,
he's gonna be a big boy.
He's gonna be huge. He's gonna be huge. But he's learned quite a few things. He's learned sit and lay down.
Oh, he's smarty.
He obviously struggles if there's like food around.
Mhm.
So like if our food is on the table, he's just like, I need it, and I'm like, lay down, and he's just like, no, you know.
Food.
But he's learned that. He's learned spin.
Oh.
But he's not an amber turner. He can only spin one way.
Oh my goodness.
He can't quite figure out the other way. He can jump. He does his. I call him uppies, and he's able to like kind of get up there.
Oh.
He's not very good at the landing, though. That's the hard part. And actually, my partner was just down there a little bit ago, working on Stay.
Oh, that's a good one.
And he does okay up to a certain distance.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest ones, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when there's food and distractions and
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good with him on walks with like come on, let's go, or like not quite heel, but I call it I say stay with me, and he'll like come up to my leg.
oh,
most of the time. If there's another dog, it's game over, man. Like, he's like, that's my friend. I'm gonna go play, and I'm like, no,
Oh,
not every dog wants
not
to be your
everybody
friend.
wants to play. Yeah.
We ran into
Aw.
a dog the other day, and that dog, man, that dog snarling and barking, and like bit his owner a few times, and I was like, not very friendly, and he's like, definitely not, you know.
Oh, I'm an owner of an unfriendly dog.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it's just the way she is. We tried socializing her as a puppy, being around people, and she's just
It's people too?
yeah, she's distrusting of people. She's like kind of warming up. Like she's 1,000,000% food driven, so if you can buy her love with food.
Right.
But she is but so she's a teacup chihuahua, so she's just extra nasty all the time.
That means those little bites are just like, ah.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Man, I'm looking forward to the day without the bites.
Yeah,
will say.
puppy bites and puppy teeth. Oh my goodness.
They hurt, man.
Yeah, they're very sharp.
They
Little
hurt.
needles.
There was a point, I mean, it's kind of healed now and it's hard to see on camera, but he really got me like a few weeks ago, and they straight up looked like I was like hurting myself. And like a coworker at the school was just like, and they like, hey, can you come in for a second? Like, are you okay? And I was like, what do you mean?
Oh, and you're like, no, I have a puppy. You don't understand.
And I was just like, and I was like, oh God, yeah, no, puppy. And they were just like, oh, and I was like, yeah, man, they're just straight up sharp and they hurt.
Oh.
They're not ungodly painful, but there's been a couple of times where it's just like, damn. That really got me.
Even with Tinkerbell's little tiny nub teeth, it's she's gotten me a couple times. Out of any of the people, she only bites me, so
Rude. So rude. So for anybody out in the audience, sorry, we got dog talk. What can you do? For anyone in the audience who has any questions for me, Denim, both of us, they could get weird, they could get, you can go mild, go wild, kind of whatever
Show
you're
us your
feeling.
feet.
Show feet. That's a different website.
This was a dog talk show. This can always be a dog
It
talk
could be
show.
a dog talk. I'll talk about Jax all day, man. Do you have other pets?
I just have Tinkerbell. Although we are watching the neighbor's dog next weekend. He is a giant Great Pyrenees, and he is so cute and fluffy. But no, I really want cats, but in my living situation right now, I'm back at home, and my brother is very allergic. So
I'm allergic to cats too.
Really? Oh, oh.
Like it's not like deathly, but I definitely, if I'm like in a room with cats for a while or a house, I'm kind of like getting a little stuffy. Like,
That's my dad too. He could walk in. He was really bad. He could walk into my aunt's house and then his eyes would just immediately like swell.
I'm very lucky that that's not the case. Because it takes a little bit, but they're like at first. After a while, I'm kind of like my throat's a little scratchy.
You give him the hairballs.
And like my nose is stuffed up, and I'm like, I think I might need to go outside or something. Yeah, we have the ferrets, of course. We have
These are so cute.
Otto, Ziggy, and Ferret Bueller, which is everyone's favorite name. I get it. But there might be people out there who are too young to get that joke. Anytime I tell a kid that that's one of their names, they're like, I don't get it.
Oh,
And
it sucks getting old.
I know, and I was like, that movie's like much older than I am, so
yeah.
oh no.
Oh, I have always wanted to have ferrets, but they are illegal in
They
California.
are illegal in California.
Although they do sell ferret pet food and all the things that you need for a ferret at the pet store.
Yeah, I don't think like big corporate cares where they send that stuff.
Yeah, they're
Although
just
Sir
like,
just fucking sits on the shelf, man.
yeah.
Maybe it's a trap.
Maybe they're like,
They're like, if
follow
someone,
him home.
yeah, if someone bought ferret food with a credit card, we got him.
We go on a list.
Where is like the ultimate, like where's the ultimate vacation destination for you? Because like California
Ooh.
for a lot of people is it, but
Ultimate, I love going to LA. I also really liked going to Hawaii. If I could go anywhere, I would love to go to Japan.
ooh, okay, what's in Japan that you like?
Just I want to experience the culture. I want to experience the food. I want to go buy stuff
Of course.
that's only in Japan. I see all the like themed cafes and all of that I was like, I don't know why California doesn't have that, but they should.
They should,
but-
absolutely.
Yeah, you'd think they would, or like random, like I love a theme. I love themed places. And that's a really big reason too why I like going to LA, because it's like every restaurant is super themed. Everything is like a big production, and
Yeah. No, you know what? I think you and I might be in the minority with the fact that I actually like going to LA.
I think that too.
Like LA is cool, man. There's like a ton of history, number one. And then like there's just like cool shit. Like I loved the Museum of Death,
Oh,
which
I've
if you're squeamish,
to
I don't
that.
recommend, but if like it's cool.
definitely not.
It's cool. It's obviously like heavy and kind of weirdly dark, but it's
It's very interesting.
super interesting. I think the part that got me out of anything else that was in there, and I won't give away like too many spoilers, because they like don't even let you take pictures in there. Like they have like letters from serial killers and, you know, a couple of things from like Charles Manson and stuff like that. But the room that like got like made me kind of go like was this room where they're talking about like embalming bodies and stuff like that. And they were showing a video of embalming like a child, and I was like,
Oh my god. I went to the Museum of Death, but not in LA. They have one in New Orleans. And
Oh,
I had
okay.
to go there for a wedding, which that's also a really amazing place.
Yes, I
Um,
have a friend of
but they just showed in the theater part, like people in unfortunate accidents, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh. And we went there, like a huge party of people because it's a wedding party, and one is who went with us is an ER nurse, and then she was sharing her stories, and I was like, I don't know how you do that job.
No, absolutely
I-
not.
I would be passed out on the floor.
I'm not like super like squeamish for like blood and stuff like that, but some of the things that they definitely show there, you're just like,
Yeah, oh my goodness. I love scary movies, gory movies, but I'm very squeamish in person. It's a really weird thing.
There's a separation.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's not real, that's fake. And then if I don't know, I can't get my blood drawn because I will pass out.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Because I got the fear of needles. So like,
Oh,
yeah, and like, but like movies and stuff like that, like I know they're fake, and even if it kind of looks like it, I still get a little tingly. But like getting shots or anything like that, like I get a fucking TB test. I work with the public. I know it's still not bad. You'll be fine. And I'm like, I know I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's. I hate getting shots.
I know I will be fine. I want to go through in the first place. If I'm not coughing up blood, I don't have tuberculosis. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You really need to do the. All right, I'm move off of that topic. So Hawaii, obviously, just
Mhm.
beautiful and sunny
And picture perfect,
yeah,
and
great culture and
everyone was so friendly.
yeah,
And the weather was beautiful. We went like over Christmas, with or my family went over Christmas one year, and it was like
that's
sitting on the beach, 80 degrees.
yeah. In the
Get
middle of
much better than
December,
that.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
the middle of December. Even though like we'll have nice weather here, kind of like that, but
Sure.
it's like, oh, nothing beats Hawaii in December.
No, well, and plus there's probably not a ton of people there, is my guess.
I'm not sure what a busy looks like, and I think if you're on different islands, it is different too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really nice, memorable vacation.
What do you remember? What island you went to?
I went to Oahu.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oahu's
I don't
great.
know what the other ones are, but
I've been to Oahu and I've been to Maui and the Big Island.
Ooh, okay.
The Big Island just doesn't have a ton of stuff on it, even though it's the biggest one. But mostly it's because it's almost exclusively a volcano.
Yeah, that makes it a little hard.
But the Maui was awesome. And then yeah, Oahu is kind of the slightly more touristy place, but like it's still beautiful and fun.
Yeah, it was still so gorgeous.
You go to the store and it's like fucking $7 for like a half gallon of milk. You're like, oh shit, what?
That's crazy. And then their big selling point was like, our tax is only 2%.
I know. It's like
Okay.
2% of $7.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
Oh.
Do you have any questions?
What is your favorite part of streaming?
I really like to meet new people. Like, I like learning people's stories. I like kind of like, I know a lot of people in my chat's name. Like, when people are willing to give it, obviously.
Like, I know your name.
You know, I like having that kind of.
My light.
I saw that. I like the and then like eventually, like since you get to know them, you get a little camaraderie, and then you can have kind of like almost inside jokes, but like inside jokes that can play to an audience, and then the fact that like people like it seems like such a wild and out there thing, but to just like be able to share something that I like with others, you know, or even better sometimes is not like, you know, like you're just like, man, this game sucks. Here's why. You know?
Do you ever get the feeling that like I will express to some people that I'm a gamer, and they're like, "Oh, I would have never thought that before," and they ask me what they play, and I'm like, "Oh, I play Resident Evil, I play Final Fantasy." I don't meet like any people organically that like any of that, but it's
Right.
nice that I can come on Twitch and people are like, "I love this thing in a incredible same way that," and I will have a deep conversation with you about Leon Kennedy and all this crazy stuff. It's really interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like today, literally when I popped it in your chat and I found out like one of the main guys in Final Fantasy, his favorite one is 9, you know, and I was like, that's cool. Like I didn't know that, you know.
Yeah, you learn so many tidbits about stuff.
Yeah.
Connecting things and
Truly, yeah. What up, C Diddy? Good to see you. Yeah, it's very just like learning the like meeting people and learning about them. That's probably my favorite part. And then like I said, like getting to share new things, or you know, like I never beat Donkey Kong Country as a kid because it was too hard, and then I got
Relatable.
to on stream, and I'm like, damn, that's so much fun. Hell yeah. Yeah. God, what's that like? You know, I don't even remember that.
Oh.
That's like the fun stuff. And then yeah, since I don't get like a ton of time outside of Twitch to like game and stuff like that, it's like, you know, might as well share that hobby with other people too.
Yeah, it is nice to have like a dedicated time, a dedicated space to
Right.
to do with whatever you want with.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. We're in the middle of the Q&A section for anybody out there who does want to ask questions. Obviously, you don't have to. It can, again, be pertaining to anything we were talking about or literally nothing that we were talking about. Which, are you a Pokemon kid at all?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so red or blue?
So I had blue, my brother had red. I have a couple Pokemon tattoos.
That's cool.
My first started with Squirtle, and then I've replayed the game before and done it with Charizard as well. Were you Pokemon red or blue?
I was red.
Okay.
And then I got blue, and all that stuff. But my first one was also Squirtle.
Oh, Squirtle Squad!
Squirtle was
Unite.
the very first one I did, and then I also did Charizard or Charmander.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried it with Bulbasaur, but I was like, this feels so easy because like the first like 2 bosses or gym leaders are weak to grass, so you could just go in there and wreck. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's funny, the people who like Bulbasaur are very fierce in their love of the cabbage boy.
and there's no disrespect. Look right in the camera. There is no disrespect to Bulba
We
Boy.
love Bulbasaur.
We do. But it didn't. It felt like less of a challenge, and in some scenarios, I like a challenge in a video game. It just starts out so easy. And then I remember when Yellow came out and you had Pikachu.
Oh, that was the best.
And it was so hard because your first one is the rock and ground guy, and Pikachu is garbage against them.
I had like such child expectations after watching the TV show and then playing the game. I was like, oh, I'm gonna set off a sprinkler and the sprinkler is gonna go off, and then I'm gonna be able to beat Brock, and like, no, none of that happens.
Nope. Because then you're like, use Thunder Shock, and it doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
It's like Onyx is
Flex back
unaffected
on you.
and you're like, what do you mean?
Did you let that out of the game? Yeah.
Did you like keep going with Pokemon? Did you like Silver and?
I got gold, and then I dropped Pokemon after that because it's like, oh, it's not cool to like Pokemon anymore. And then I've circled back because
now it's kind of cool again.
Well, that and it scratches the nostalgia part in my brain because what was I, 7 when it came out? So it's like, oh, this familiar thing that I love, and like I've watched the anime again, and the anime is so like funny and entertaining, and it just yeah, and like I bought the new game and had fun with that, and
not literally like Scarlet's literally right here, like
Scarlet team.
Yeah, I went up to Ruby, which was the one after like Gold and Silver.
Okay.
And then for real, yeah, absolutely. I remember playing it until then, and then I skipped a bunch of generations. But yeah, I'm with you. It totally scratches like this like nostalgia part. And you're like, yeah, I remember this. This feels good. I like doing this.
Mm-hmm. I like collecting Pokemon.
Yeah, and then when I'm doing it on stream, I get to, name them goofy things, and
you get to have fun with it.
Yeah, and like everybody gets to have fun with it too, because then I'm like suggestions, and people are just like,
name it ass.
Name it Ed, and I'm like, Ed's good,
Yeah.
Ed's all right. I like Ed. or something that makes zero sense. It's a bunch of numbers. It's the Nier series. What do you think is the least favorite game you've played on stream?
I know a lot of people really like it, but I tried to play Assassin's Creed. Someone suggested it to
Huh?
me, and
Which one?
I didn't like it. I think it was Assassin's Creed 3 or something like that. I didn't enjoy
yeah.
it.
Interesting. Really? Why not?
It was just like I would try and sneak into something, but I'm not leveled up enough to sneak into something, and like I found
Sure,
myself in an area that I'm way too underleveled, and I don't know how to get back, and I'm trying to complete quests, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. I know so many people love that game, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
No, I mean, like, it really does change it. Like, I started playing Xenoblade on stream, and then it is an insanely slow game.
Oh, okay.
Which, like, isn't a bad thing, but for me, it's kind of like, okay, like,
Yeah, too much of a slow burn. And then too, some of the games help, like, some games are definitely better to be played in bursts, and it's hard to sit down for 3 hours or whatever you're gonna stream that day and like try and focus.
right.
It's so hard some days.
Yeah, and like, I think I remember playing. This is back in the Tank Bros days, but we played Smash Bros one time because we got the weirdest people coming in and telling us about shit we were, and like it was Tank Bros, and I don't know how often you watch Tank Bros, but like literally it's just like two fucking morons just goofing around, right? But people would come in and be like, how would you even play like that? Like, what's wrong with you? This is a serious game or whatever. And we're like, no, it's not. It absolutely is not a serious game because it's a video game.
Oh, because it's Smash. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a pretty intensive community.
And like, I literally, like, I used to play Smash competitively.
Oh my goodness.
I've won like a couple of like kind of regional stuff when I was up in college. Thank you. I had nothing better to do.
Congratulations.
But literally we'd just like play and do that stuff, and it was fun. You know, we'd go in and get some like free to enter tournaments and win $200, or there were a couple other bigger ones that were like $50 entry fee, but the grand prize is like 2,000 or whatever, you know?
Okay.
So I won a couple of those and I came in second. I've told this story on stream, so apologies to those who have heard it before. But it was this one tournament, and I knew this was like gonna be my like last or second to last tournament at the time. It was not a it was a bigger tournament. The grand prize was like, I want to say it was like 1,000, and then like some gaming stuff.
Ooh, okay.
Which like isn't anything to scoff at. I'm not gonna be like
no.
But like, you know, it wasn't like, it was a free to enter tournament. Like anybody could go in, right? So you had some kids who were younger and would end up getting kind of whipped by these adults. But it was like, it was free to enter, and like people were being really cool about it. Everyone was like cool and sportsmen, and you know, you get up afterward and you shake their hand and all that stuff, and you say, man, a good game, or thanks, or like, oh, you almost had me, or whatever, right? And so it was like the second round, right? Not even like a money round or anything like that. It was the second round. I got put up against this guy who was probably 50-ish, 40-ish, somewhere up in there.
Okay.
And I two-stocked him. It was a 3-stock tournament. I two-stocked him, and it was literally like, I could like hear like grunting noises next to me while we were playing.
No.
But I was like, okay, whatever. Like maybe just like, you know, gets into it, whatever. Maybe he feels what his character is feeling or whatever. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Sympathy pains. But so we get done with this. We get done with the match, and I turn over to I set my thing down because you have to use like their stuff. And the way that it's set up is you each have your own little monitor in front of you, and those are connected to like a bigger like projector, like kind of behind everything. It's so it's literally like I made the joke because it's so you can do the gamer mode thing, you can sit forward on your knees thing. I made the joke, and it was like, so I turn over to like go shake his hand, and he's just like staring at the floor with the controller in his hand. I'm like, all right, he lost, maybe means a minute, no problem.
Yeah.
And he stands up and he fucking takes his controller, whips it at the monitor.
Oh my god.
Breaks the monitor. I don't know if he broke the controller or not, but breaks the monitor.
Oh my god.
And like the first words out of my mouth were like, "You're fucking 40." Like,
be an adult.
I was like, fucking relax, man. Who gives a shit? It's a
Oh
game.
my god.
It's a game at a free to enter tournament here in Seattle. We're all just here having fun. And if you happen to win, you happen to get a couple of cool shit. But it was free.
It's not life or death.
It's not. If it was for you, that you got more issues. But like, that was like the first word. I was like so upset because I was like, you're a grown man. You are a grown man throwing a huge fit over a video game. I've been upset at video games. I get it. But I've never once smashed a controller,
No, I've never either.
Because this shit, it's like $60. Like,
yeah, it's expensive. Well, that too, and especially not in public. I wouldn't act like that.
not in public, right? You think?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
You think that you got like banned, and then literally I lost in the next round. Like
Oh.
I didn't even win that tournament. Like I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
I lost against this Rob that was just insane. Absolutely insane. Have you ever done any sort of like competitive type stuff?
I have not.
Video games or otherwise? Maybe sports?
I wasn't in sports. In high school, I was on the academic decathlon. Is the most
right.
competitive thing that I've done. Yeah, we took
Wow.
silver. But that was a really interesting experience, and it was like one of my friends in my art class was like, "Oh, we need people, and it'll look good on your college resume," and
True.
so me and my friend, which we would often ditch practice to go smoke, but but I don't know, it was fun. It was definitely an experience. Definitely an experience.
So I am unfamiliar with what an academic decathlon is.
So you get a topic, and our topic was the Civil War. We had to learn about medical things. We had to learn about history. We had to read the Red Badge of Courage. We had to learn all these different facets of what was happening politically.
Okay.
And then it's kind of like a quizzo. You go up against all these other high schools and you take tests, and there was like a lightning round, and there was an essay we had to write about the Red Badge of Courage and like the themes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how I found myself there, but it was definitely an experience. And I can't believe we placed. I can't believe we placed, like, at all. And my we got like numbered shirts, and I was like number 6 and my friend was number 9, and we like stood next to each other
A classic move.
Yeah.
Literally what my one of my favorite emotes is based on right there, like wow. Yeah, that sounds incredibly nerdy, but if you had fun with it, like, who cares?
Yeah, it was good memories.
it's it's camaraderie to it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like one last question here that would be really weird.
Okay.
Just weird enough that you're like, I don't know if I want to like be back. Can you think? Well, I'll go with this one for now while I'm thinking. What is your weirdest first chat ever?
Weirdest first chat is someone saying your makeup looks really good, but your eyebrows are awful. People making comments about my nose.
Right. Again, just mean. Right?
Yeah, because I'm like I can't change it, but well, I can, but you know.
Are you paying for it? I'm not changing it. Yeah.
Yeah, are you gonna pay for my nose job? I don't know. I've like been asked a couple times what biracial means.
What it means?
Mm-hmm. That's
like one of my. You can't just put that. All right, yeah. No.
Well,
okay.
some people do like. So for those of you that don't know, I am half black, and some people like I will say that, and you can just see the wheels stop in their head. So I'm guessing it's something like that. But
I mean, yeah. To be fair, like the half black thing, and then being so white passing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one would expect that, but I guess the idea of just like being like, what does it mean?
Yeah, what is that? What does that mean? And I'm like, oh, I'm mixed of 2 or more races.
Thought that was fairly self-explanatory, but okay, champ. What else do you need me to Google for you?
Oh my goodness.
That's interesting. I can't even like think of like why that would be an issue.
Yeah, or just like random like I don't like besides the random trauma dump. I did have the weird like I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend. How should I propose? And everyone's sharing and you're like, oh, that was so nice. And then 2 seconds later, that person's a liar.
It was coordinated. There's no way.
It has to be. Oh my goodness.
There's no way, right? Like it just has to be a coordinated attack.
Like,
almost.
Yeah, because why are you following this person around? Like nobody cares.
Right. That is a weird first one. I could agree with that. I think the Tank Bro days was usually things like, do you guys rim each other and things like that? Like,
oh, that's so rude.
And it's just like, why do you want to know? You know?
Yeah, why do you care? Fuck off.
Or just like, why would you pay for it? Or things like that. How much? Put a number out there. Just try to make it more uncomfortable. Because like they're trying to make us uncomfortable, and I'm like, you can't win this, Those were usually the normal ones in the Tank Bro days. Was just like, when you two gonna fuck and whatever.
Oh my god.
And it was just kind of roll your eyes because you're like, okay.
Yeah, get something better to do with your life and your time.
Like, I did get one person come in, and this was during the Tank Bro days, but it was they came in and did this long rant, like being like anti Black Lives Matter.
Oh.
Because we were discussing it at the time.
Yeah.
And we were both very much like don't go out there listening to 2 white guys about the BLM movement, okay? Like we both support it, but we're both very much on the side of we are not the leaders of this movement. We are helping the movement. We are not leaders. We are followers. We are supporters.
Yeah.
So don't go out there being like, well, this white guy on Twitch, like, and then it's like a fucking paragraph, like a long fucking thing about just like, well, this, that, and the other thing about it, they're a bunch of thugs and all this other awful stuff, right? And I don't remember exactly how I got there, but it was something just like, I'm like, yeah, the problem is with All Lives Matter is that you're the exception, you know?
Oh.
And then fairly recently I got like, I want to pull those curls in between my legs. I was like, oh, little horny to start off the bat, but okay.
I've been so lucky. I don't know how I've been so lucky, but like people aren't horny in my chat.
You better
People,
knock on the
yeah,
closest one you can
knock
find,
off
right?
some wood. Like there. Oh, I froze again. There are definitely like jokes, or like they're fun spirited jokes and,
Sure.
and stuff like that. But thankfully, people are not horny to me.
I was like, because you know how like Twitch like highlights the first chatter thing now, like first time chatter thing.
Oh, I hold my breath all the time, and I'm so suspicious now when somebody's like, and I'm like, I don't know you. What do you? Hello?
Right. Yeah. My mods now know to look at when the account was created,
That's smart.
because like if the account was created 8 minutes ago, you know, it was
Bam
just some throwaway that they're coming in to trash me, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And he's like, I got guns drawn.
Exactly. You're just ready any minute. Because you never know.
Yeah, you literally never know. I did get some weird comments when I was playing Final Fantasy VIII about the lead, or not the lead character, but about the like lead love interest that were really
Renoa?
yes, about Renoa, like about if they wonder if she shaves her they didn't say cat, but I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can. But if
it's
she,
an 18 plus channel. That's okay.
okay, they were like, I wonder if how she shaves her pussy, and they made some other weird comments about her, and I was like, what the fuck?
You're wondering,
Yes,
if this,
yeah.
you're wondering if this collection of polygons shaves?
Yeah, I'm like, who the fuck are
Is
you?
that
Okay.
is that important?
Yeah, why do we care?
Yeah, I mean, every so often, I feel like most of the time, if they're out there to troll, they like literally troll and then delete their account or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can handle that, right? But it's the ones that like keep coming back that like you're like, okay, you're okay for now, or you have to like give a warning, and then they're like, "You're sorry," and they like kind of back off for a little bit.
Oh, that's always hard. Or the people who they come around and then you have to keep them in line, and it's like, well, I can't. You didn't really, I don't know, do anything to make me ban you, but you make things uncomfortable sometimes, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, we were having a discussion about like trans rights and trans activism, how pronouns work, basically, is what we were talking about in the chat, because someone came in and was talking like, hey, my sister just transitioned from female to male, and they said they want to go by they them, but like it doesn't make sense in the in grammar. And I had to be like, well, actually it does. You know, because you can refer to one person as they. They lost the game, right?
Yeah.
That can be a single person. So like that, I was like kind of like explaining like that, and then someone else just like, it's just stupid, or blah, 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 blah. And it was like, well, hold on, like, and they were okay with like trying to learn how to do it. And so I was like, it's not like bannable, but like it's weird. And
or I've seen a lot of like, oh, I never use pronouns, I never blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, but you go by he or she, like you have to use pronouns.
Yeah,
you literally have.
You know what else is a pronoun? I.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I don't use pronouns. Like, yes, you do. You just
Yeah, you definitely do.
that was always really kind of a dumb thing. I'm like, it's okay if you just don't get it, because you can learn.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to learn, that's an even better thing, right? Okay, so they don't like he, him. They want they, them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. You know?
Yeah.
They want to learn, but they're like really blocked. Yeah. Aaron, I remember you telling me about that. Because he has a tag like safe space. No, I don't like what happens in safe spaces. It's like
What do you mean? What happens? Like, oh my
like,
god!
imagine going in and waiting long enough to have to say something about it. Like, you have to like type that out, right?
What did he think? Yeah, what did he think was gonna happen? Like, everyone was just gonna blow each other? Like,
This is a safe place to blow each other, yeah.
like, okay.
Safe place to 69. All your friends. All of them.
Aaron, I have no idea what he thought was gonna happen. I don't know.
And you're playing Mass Effect. Like,
I don't understand.
technically Mass Effect, like, not a lot of safe spaces in that. Right? I don't know.
How dare you try and have a safe space for your chatters? My
Nope,
goodness, you monster.
not a chance.
There's actually a cover for my sex call. He
Oh,
may have liked that if you had tagged it sex call.
You can make your own tags now.
Yeah, that is true.
I told my chat about this, but I have a pride flag up in my office.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the one that kind of covers, like, has like every color and every stripe on it. Just to kind of let them know, like, this is a safe space, it's a welcome space. You know, I mean, I literally have paint of nails. Like, I you know, it's cool, right? That's the point. And the guy, this dad came in and we did this entire assessment with him and his kid. And I was like, Dad, afterward, if you don't mind staying around to just kind of ask a couple of the parent questions, and then we'll head out. And it was like, cool, that's fine. And then we got through the whole thing. It was like 2 hours. And he goes like, are you trying to indoctrinate my kid into the LGP whatever? And I was like,
Where
what?
is that coming from? Yeah.
Because then he didn't point at it, but he like motioned toward the flag. It's not even a big flag. It's like the size of an iPad. Like, it's not even like a big flag.
Oh my gosh.
It's just this little thing above this whiteboard to like let you know it's cool up in here, you know?
Wow.
Time to indoctrinate them?
We have a giant flag that hangs in our front window.
Yeah.
That I'm sure is very similar to yours, so I can't so yes, we're trying to indoctrinate people at my house. No.
Into what? Like,
I know. We're making the frogs gay.
oh yeah, it's the water.
Oh my gosh.
I never understood it. I was like, what do you? Because I was literally like at a loss for a second.
Well, and two, it's you are there in a professional setting. You're doing your job professionally. Like,
Yeah.
there's no. I mean, I wasn't there, but like, I'm going to assume there's nothing inappropriate that happened or anything questionable. So it's very like rash.
I think the most like closest thing to it, I asked the kid about their pronouns. Like, you know, I was like, hey, what pronouns do you want me to use on your paperwork?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh goodness, you're indoctrinating them. No.
into what pronouns?
I don't even know. I don't even know, because if you're gay, you're gay. You know, if you
And the best, and what I tell kids all the time, I'm like, that can change. Like,
oh yeah, that can change. That, you know, you can try whatever you want, and you can find out that you don't like it. You can, you know,
Right.
you can do whatever you want with your own life, and if
Right.
you want to go do that, like it's I don't know.
Literally
Some
go
stranger's
and
not going to indoctrinate you into being gay. Like I don't know.
you could claim to be straight your whole life and find out later. That's fine. You can claim to be gay from the beginning and then later find out you're like, I'm actually bi. You know, whatever it is,
Mhm.
totally fine. You know.
Yeah,
It's okay.
like,
It's a spectrum. It changes. Like there's every day, you know, like it goes back and forth. You're like, I like men today, and then other days you're like, I like women a little bit more. Some days you're like, it's all good to me. You know what?
Yeah.
Whatever. You know.
yeah, you're allowed to grow and change, and then the same with age. Like your tastes change, and
Right.
like who knows?
Yeah. Maybe you're super into masculine presenting people, but you're very much into women. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, maybe you want somebody who is trans. Okay, that's fine. Like, as long as it's not fetishized, that's fine. Go, like, it's cool. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting anybody, like you can do whatever you want with your whatever you want with your personal life. It's none of my business, and
Yeah.
there are gay people in my life that I love, and it's not. I don't know. It's not something that is I don't think I don't dwindle on it. I don't know how some people can like dwindle on it and they're so obsessed with it and like how other people live and like, oh god, like two men kissing or I don't know.
Yeah, God forbid, huh?
Yeah, good. God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, it was very like it's a very one-off situation. Every so often, you have to deal with like a parent that has like, you know, like their kid comes out as trans or whatever, and they're just like I'm losing my daughter, and it's like, well, you still have your kid,
Mhm.
you know, like they're not gone. It's still your kid.
Yeah.
All those memories and whatnot don't disappear. You just got to change a word once in a while when you're telling a story. Like,
yeah, it's definitely still your kid, and it's now your son.
yeah, it's like it's fairly simple, man. Like, and if you're not comfortable being like, that's my son, you go, hey, that's my kid, that's my child.
Yeah, you just have to literally just be supportive to your kid, you know.
And like that's helped a couple of parents that I've worked with. Is like it's okay, you're not comfortable right away. It's hard right away.
Mhm.
You know, you've known that kid literally since they came out of you. Like that's a hard thing to change in your mind.
Mhm.
It's been 12 years or 13 years or whatever. But now they're a kid. Now they can just be your kid. They don't have to be your daughter. They don't have to be specifically your son. They can be just your kid.
Mhm.
That's neutral. It's not going to hurt anybody. It still makes sense in all your lexicon. It's my kid, you know. But yeah, we're all about. I mean, we're all about the safe spaces up in both our chats here. Thank you so much for coming on here today. I super appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. That was I didn't expect it, and I was really like excited when you asked. So thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a specific link you want me to use? For do you have like an all my links or something? I'm like,
oh yeah. I'll type it into the. I have a link.
I found it.
Tree. Oh, okay.
Found it.
It's fast on the keys. Oh, thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah. Ooh, look at all those links. She's got so many.
Oh,
It's Twitch,
a little bit
YouTube,
everywhere.
and Fansly, and the Instagram, and the media kit. Wish list. Buy things. You can buy things.
Consume.
Consume.
Oh.
Yeah, I like having the different just these different perspectives, right? Like I try not to ever think of myself in this massive grandiose way. but when you have like, we are, I feel like we're in like a similar window in the kind of Twitch sphere, at least.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our the followers, the viewers, whatnot, those are all fairly similar. I don't know your exact numbers or anything like that. And I also, this is a personal thing, I find it a little weird when people post them. It's almost always in a braggy sense, you know, like you never see people post about like a day when you have a little red arrow, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. Like that happens. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Like I've gone entire streams where I haven't gotten a follow or a sub or anything, right? Like it happens.
I know. We've all streamed to nobody before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've all streamed to nobody.
Absolutely. And it's a reason I personally turned off my viewer account, because it kept getting in my head.
You get like self-conscious, because I also don't have my viewer count on, because I will it's like, oh, they didn't like what I said, or I gotta, or you can have the best, most fun stream and 10 people are watching.
Right.
Like you can have a, I don't know, mediocre stream, 30 people are watching. So it doesn't really, it's not a good indicator of how enjoyable your stream is.
Right. Like you're the best indicator. Like if you walk away from a stream being like, wow, that sucked, and I felt really bad about it, but then look at the numbers and base it all on that, feels a little weird. And
Yeah.
I've talked about that, and I feel like every episode of TravTalks to this point, because it's so easy to focus on the numbers. I mean, they send you an email after your stream being like, check this out.
Yeah, it can be hard not to, and you don't want to dwell on it, because a lot of people are like, oh, forget about the numbers, don't think about the numbers, but it is sometimes like good to take that in, because it's the same as like you learn pretty quickly. Sometimes you can't play your favorite game, or you can't play your favorite genre, or people don't like to watch this but they like to watch that, or
Sure.
you know, you have to take that feedback.
And that also depends on your goals, right? Like if your goal is just to like stream it for fun, and it's a game no one's ever heard of and nobody watches, like then okay, you do you, right? And on the flip side, right? Like if you're really going for all that stuff, then you go for you kind of pay attention to a little more trends, and it's like, but I don't really want to play chess on stream, so like you know. So you have to take that into account too,
my
right?
Goodness. Dude,
Like,
chess blew up for a while, and I was
did,
like, I don't
for like
know
a month.
why this is a thing, and I don't know how to play chess, but oh my goodness.
Oh really?
Mm-mm.
I'll teach you.
Okay.
I teach because I have a chessboard in my office, and I teach a lot of kids how to play chess. Yeah, like you child. Anyway, sorry. No, it's very it's fun, and like you don't have to be the best in the world at it to enjoy it.
Aaron, it's a chess stream. Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Aaron's gonna randomly come into my chat and be like, what is it? My rook to your 7 or 9 or something like that. He's gonna say a random chess thing.
Oh
Aha!
yeah, if you're doing like if you're doing like full on like text commands, yeah. Yeah, like because then it can be like Q from G7 to.
Oh my gosh!
Because you could if you really want to.
Maybe
Or you
Aaron
just
will come in with checkers, and he'll be like, "I jump your red checker."
Now checkers is different, right? Checkers.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this rule. Like other people played it that you didn't. I always played if you could jump, you had to.
Okay.
But other people played it where you didn't have to, and I was like, what?
I thought that was the goal in checkers.
Well, yeah,
so.
the goal is to jump eventually.
To take all your pieces, yeah.
Right, but like the rule in checkers is that if you can jump, you have to.
Okay.
Right? but apparently that's like other people don't play it that way. It's like all the different rules of Uno, right?
Oh yeah.
There
Oh
is
my
officially
God.
one way to play Uno, but like a million other people are like, yeah. And like the Uno Twitter is like, you only have to draw one card and then end your turn, and everyone's like, thanks for the cards, we got it from here, you know?
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, I know how to play.
I
Official
know more
Uno
than
Twitter.
you. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I like getting the different perspectives and just like how people view it. Some in some ways very similar, in some ways like way different. You know, like obviously we both know B. I think you know B like personally at this point, and just like getting those different perspectives of somebody who's like a partner versus like on the rise versus somebody who's just kind of been with like this really solid core group but at a plateau or you know whatever it is.
Mhm.
You know, I know where I'm at, but getting the different perspectives of like, well, okay, so my Twitch follows and stuff are going up, but my TikTok followers have stayed the same.
It's the algorithm.
You know, it's like, is it the algorithm? Am I not fucking funny enough? I saw the last thing before we read out here is I saw a TikTok, a randomly hurtful TikTok, that was, if you get a lot of likes and follows, you're attractive, and if you just get a bunch of likes, you're just funny but not attractive. And I was like,
Oh.
and I was like, that's hurtful. I was like, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
But yeah, do you have somebody we could rate out to?
Oh, let's see. Why don't we raid out to why don't we raid out to Rare Gangster?
To Rare?
Mm-hmm.
Done.
She's a lovely lady. Barbie, hello!
Hi, Barbie. Good to meet you.
You little cutie. We love Rare Bear. I know, she's a sweetheart.
We do love Rare. I mean, Rare was on a TravTalks episode, so
Yeah, she's so nice. She's so funny and she's so creative.
she's a creative force, no doubt.
Yeah. Every time I see her stream, she's doing something like insanely different, and it's very funny and entertaining.
All right.
Oh.
All that stuff getting us set up over here, taking its time.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
friends, for being here, for watching. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that like people are sometimes hesitant to come on these types of shows. I appreciate your willingness and also your willingness to bite through your sick.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
I hope you're just continually on the rise here.
thank you. I hope so too. It feels like every antibiotic I take, I feel a little bit better. So
Staring at it, you're like,
yeah, you're gonna fix me.
you're gonna work, goddammit.
Oh.
So yes, of course,
Oh.
there is not only your Twitch link, but also your link tree for all the
Thank you
things. Definitely
for the
check out
shout outs.
definitely check out Denim and all of her stuff. And if anybody out there is feeling so inclined, there's all my stuff.
Go give him a follow.
More TravTalks episodes are coming. Working on schedules is a hard thing when everyone is at different time zones and whatnot. Because like I want people from the East Coast and they're like 2 hours ahead of me, but like I don't like. They're like, what about like 2 o'clock your time? And I'm like, school's not even out yet, you know. But I super appreciate you coming on. Let's a little
Woo.
gangster and some Pikmin. That's kind of exciting. Okay. Again, thank you, Denim. Thank you to all you lovely people out there.
No. Thank you, everybody, and thank you very much for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time, and thanks for being I'm losing the words. Thank you for being so open. That's the word I'm looking for.
Of course.
Hopefully I wasn't, I didn't get too weird. I am unmedicated right now,
He's gone rogue.
again, raw dog in the mental health. It's getting rough out here. Oh yes, as I Streamlabs, I'm so sorry you lost your sub there. Feel free to use my raid emotes, Denim's raid emotes. Feel free to use any raid emotes as long as you let him know Super Travis want to send ya. Okay, everybody. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Denim.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Mwah.
Stream not tonight. That's not happening. No,
And
it's a drinking stream. I can't